And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Yeah. What is up? Dark side of the moon, people. How's everyone doing tonight? We're going to jump on some StreamYard with, I'm waiting for Dan to show up in the StreamYard. I emailed him the link, and I've been waiting for him to show up, but he's apparently not coming tonight. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm running solo. If anyone wants to join me, the StreamYard link is in the description. Boy, we got a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm going to be posting my a video file of me on the big phone home that was yesterday, and we'll be talking a little bit about that here tonight on the show and getting people's thoughts on that, and really talking about preparing people for these phone calls that we're all going to be making tomorrow to senators and Congress and our government, because this is a fight for the truth. It's a fight for transparency, and the UFO issue is a great issue because it crosses so many borders and political boundaries. It kind of unites us all on this, hey, the government's been lying to us for 70 plus years on a lot more than just UFOs, but this is a good start because it gives us a good starting place so that the Mick Wests of the world can't, just say that all this is just conspiracy theories and this is all just flat earth. And we can just lump all these sort of theories together and in the same kind of category and have no need for investigations. We need investigations. We need congressional level inquiries. And that's why I put together my UAP briefing documents to talk about where they might find that kind of the evidence that people are looking for, where the money and the research needs to go. Because as we mentioned, like there's all these sections of who you call when you call your senators. And we're mainly focusing on the commerce and science divisions. And because these issues kind of are it's kind of hard to fit. UFOs kind of cover everything. It's a kind of a multifaceted issue, if you will, but mainly this is it concerns science and commerce and the economy, because there's lots of technologies out there that the public's just not aware of, and they're becoming declassified and coming out to the public. I think it's part of this discussion needs to be about the fact that we're going to meet aliens at some point if we're not alone in the universe, and that our technology is quickly reaching the point within these, it's already been in the point in some of these classified black world programs that are now coming out to the mainstream slowly through the work of researchers and people who contributed to this disclosure effort. But the truth's going to come out about these technologies, and it's going to change the world. The world's a very different place now that these technologies exist, and that we have, Chinese and Russian adversaries probably pursuing and building these technologies. According to the scientists who work on this kind of stuff, they tell me that Jack says he's got people, Iranian scientists, following him on Twitter and LinkedIn. So. Oh, we got some people. I didn't even see you guys. Sorry. Mute your mics when you join in, and welcome to the stream, guys. And you can unmute your mic when you're ready to talk and ask some questions, and just make sure you can throw on some headphones so your background noise isn't interfering. You don't get feedback and stuff, please. So, welcome to jump on. Looks like we got some new faces in the bunch here.
Thank God that was muted. I tell you what.
Welcome to
I sure was making
jump on. Looks like we got some new faces in
yeah, this is here.
What up? Is that Bernard?
Expected anywhere I go.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, Eagle GP, man, you got headphones that you could throw on that that might help you with the background noise and stuff, man. Nice to see some new faces joining the discussion and joining the crowd. We had a good event yesterday. I felt like
yeah, find some. Thanks for the info. I'm gonna go look.
Faces join. I couldn't I didn't get chance to run through much of my I don't know. I thought I was going to have a whole hour to run through a whole bunch of stuff, but I was on and I wanted to give Carl and John, the other two guests, a little bit of time to get what they had to say and hear their perspectives on this as well, because, you know, me and Carl especially, we don't always agree on Facebook and on Twitter conversations.
That was silent.
No, I just
my headphones.
You know, hey, no worries, man. Take your time. We'd love to get more people on to ask some questions and stuff. I threw out that StreamYard link in the live chat so that anyone can get on and ask questions. It was kind of funny because Brandon Fugel and Jeremy Corbell were on the same stream right before me, and I'm actually going to post a copy of this to my channel so that people can check it out, because I've edited some. I edited some clips in to tell people what I was talking about. I referred to this scene from the Jungle Book, and a couple of people had never seen that movie and didn't know what I was talking about. So I actually edited in the scene to the video that I'm going to be posting. If you guys want to wait for that, and you can check it out to see my whole contribution on this. I take this topic very seriously, and want my senators and scientists and congressmen to take this topic seriously too. Do we have any UFOs fly in our laboratory yet? No, we haven't. We got to get back down and do some filming at the laboratory here shortly. I got to get a hold of those guys and stuff. There's been all kinds of stuff going on with that. But we're gonna get back on track here soon with that. We didn't have APEC conference this weekend, so we'll have that again next weekend, and hopefully get a lab update with the Alzifon experiment's been the one that we've been focusing on, and want to get that one completed and done so we can move on to some other stuff. But basically goes back to this 1980s theory that was tried by Boeing. With this guy, David and Frederick Alzifon. David Alzifon is the son. We interviewed David on the channel because, of course, his father is now deceased. But his father worked on this program for the, aerospace companies, and they were told that it was classified higher than the Manhattan Project, and it's a sheer luck that we even found out about this and have access to this sort of stuff and information. And so now we're trying this, and it goes back to this idea of spin alignments maybe having something to do with how quantum gravity affects atoms on the quantum level, and how to manipulate that quantum gravity. And again, we're trying to use, not trying to reinvent physics here. We're not trying to, destroy physics. We're trying to take the most well-known and well-tested theories in physics, quantum mechanics, and general relativity, and we're trying to combine those two. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen with people anymore. I gotta throw that back on. So yeah, general relativity and quantum mechanics are, two of the best tested theories in all of science. And you want to make sure that you learn this physics, because sometimes we get people to the group who are just like, oh, Einstein's a liar and it's all Jewish physics, and it's all a conspiracy to cover up the truth about science for years and decades, but those are generally spread by people who can't do tensor calculus and haven't dove into the real math and the formalist theories of how space-time is constructed to sort of dive into these, and they can't sort of navigate their way out of this stuff as much as they can, pretend that it's disinformation and just that doesn't need to be paid attention to, like some of the guests that we've had on these conferences. So we take a lot of this stuff, on different levels. We like to hear people out and hear their perspectives and stuff, but we also like to adhere to, well-established science and not get too crazy and outside the box, because you have to be grounded in something. Otherwise, how do you know, like, if you're not convincing the physics community at large with real science that they can respect, then you're not doing a good enough job with this. I feel a big part of disclosure needs to be about our academic institutions and our universities, and changing the minds of scientists to this stuff, because you're going to always have the people that really are resistant to these new ideas and are going to fight you, like like our friend Don Lincoln here from Fermi Labs. This video posted 5 days ago. It's approaching that 200,000 view mark. It's got more likes than I have, views on half my videos on my channel. So we're doing something wrong. Maybe I should put together just a 3-minute summary and post that instead, because maybe my 2K 1 day ago, it's 27 minutes long. I don't know what I need to do to get to short of having the experiment ready and to show, with verifiable, reproducible proof of anti-gravity. But again, I don't think it's that easy. I think that there's a lot of anomalous gravitational experiments that have shown anomalies over the years that are not fully understood. There's still this debate raging, 100 years later after Biefeld-Brown, about the M drive and whether or not capacitors, can produce these forces. And there's videos showing that this stuff works in a vacuum from the Bonson Labs vacuum chamber experiments that I posted, that that Thomas Townsend Brown did at Bonson Labs in North Carolina during the late 50s. So we have, a lot of conflicting theory on the truth behind gravity, and we have a lot of information that's come out about, classified research that's been done on anti-gravity, like the Alzafon experiment and related stuff, and programs that may have been related to this, like these hypersonic flight programs, and then the whole thing about this Aurora project and this TR-3B stuff, which again, I have a link in the description to I just put together a new page. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Andrew, by the way. That was really cool. So this TR-3B, a lot of people say it's just a made up story, because it all goes back to Ed Fouché, who was an Area 51 employee. Dan's actually here now. Dan, I met through Ed Fouché, and he's been a friend of mine ever since I met Ed Fouché in 2009, and became friends with him through Skype, talking to him in Skype conversations, and
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dan.
Okay.
Dan was Ed shared a lot of really good military knowledge and perspectives on how the military works and how top secret operations work, because he was involved in a lot of these things behind the scenes for years. So I was able to learn a lot of information from him. But man, there's still always that part in the back of my mind that says, was this a made up story? Were we used by the NSA to spread disinformation?
Pick two young guys, get them that are different from each other, and get them to spread the story around, kind of.
Yeah. I wonder about it years later.
We used to feel like that, yeah. Still do, right?
I still go back and forth on that, because it's like, Ed had so much credibility for so many things, but this story has never been confirmed in the 20 years since it came out. It's just a story that came from 30, this one guy.
It's 30 years now, wouldn't it be?
98, about 23 years.
Yeah. Well, and then, when you meet a guy like Mike Stratt and this David Marler guy, and you really see how many triangular UFO cases are out there, it's startling. And when these people draw the craft, man, a lot of times it looks exactly like Ed's drawing, which is what's so bizarre about all of this. That's how we met David Hilton. David Hilton claims that he saw it, Him and some friends, remember? David Hilton came to your forum and said that him and some friends in South Carolina seen it. And that's how he found Dad and how he found us.
I found a lot of people that have is this David Marler. Oh yes, so David Marler. We gotta interview David Marler. He lives in Albuquerque. I wanted to go and visit him on my trip down out there because I was planning a trip out there and he was definitely on the list.
I know you're not going to believe this, but he actually supposedly he has a larger UFO collection than Mike Pratt does.
Because I've gotten a lot of people that said like that they've seen this craft as well, that they've looked everywhere for a description, you know, like anywhere on the internet of what they saw. And when they found this TR-3B thing that we were showing, they said this is exactly what I saw, and I've never seen anything else that looked like it, you know.
Yeah, we're getting echoes. Somebody's speakers are playing.
Yeah, man. Hey, Eagle, I gotta mute you again. Sorry, man. You unmute your mic when you want to say something.
I mute all the time. What am I doing wrong? I'm on mute all the time.
Do you have speakers on now?
Can you talk? Did you have a question, Eagle? I can't hear you, man.
No, I don't know how you're hearing me. I've got it on mute all the time. So is that me or somebody else?
It was you. As soon as I muted your, it's only me, you, and Dan in the room. And as soon as I muted you,
I wonder if there's a feedback loop somehow taking place.
I don't like people looking at until now.
That's weird. He has headphones on.
No, I got 3 computers going. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's what's going on, man. Your feedback. You got to have the feedback on.
I turned them off.
Okay. Do you have a story to share with us about triangles or anything?
Yes, I was doing research in northern Alabama during I can't remember the year. It's 92, 3, 4. On cattle mutilations. Ran into a lot of people you may know, Linda Moulton Howe and a few others. And I saw 3 craft there. I didn't get to film anything. Sometimes you can't get a camera going quick enough. But I saw the triangle, and I thought back then it was called the pumpkin seed, code name pumpkin seed. And it wasn't until
what year was that? What year?
90 cattle mutilations. I've got a script on it. I got all the info, nuclear reactors and all that crap down there. But
what year though?
Say 92, 93, 94, because I'm pretty sure I started my first website in 95, which pertained towards what I found to do with nuclear reactors and the pending Fukushima shit.
So you saw a triangular UFO that looked like what you just saw.
I've not seen as good as that I've seen on some of these videos, but it was there. I filmed 4 different craft in my time, and I've seen a lot more. But do
you have the videos? Are they good videos?
I'm thinking I don't show anybody. Linda Moulton Howe got a hold of one of my Area 51.
Don't ever give Linda Moulton Howe nothing. No, she'll sell it.
No, you're hearing me on this one. I agree. It was back in 90.
She's all about getting whatever she can and not giving you nothing and selling.
No, she don't want to give me anything. I said you could use it for this one video. She said, no, I want to use it for all my videos for whenever I want. I said, I can't do it. Wow. And then I met her in 92 or 3 at a press conference in northern Alabama. Fife sheriff, deputy sheriff, who became deputy sheriff lickety split. Prior to that, he was Air Force photographer. And all the other sheriffs up there, deputies up there, couldn't understand how he got in so quick. But the day he got put in office as a deputy in Fife, Alabama, was the same day that he took on the cattle mutilation investigation and did the.
Okay, well, what's the cattle mutilation have to do with the triangle? Are you saying that these?
That's where I saw. That's where I saw one. It had nothing. From what I gathered, what I learned out there, again, it's all in a screenplay. And I'm not like Dr. Greer trying to constantly make money with what I've seen. I've been quite silent. But, I know him. He kind of knows about me. And, I bark at a lot of people. The only one I have got to study with you, alien scientist, what is your first name?
It's Jeremy. You can call me Jeremy.
Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm Fred. Bob Lazar was instrumental in us getting out to a location, the Mailbox Road location at Area 51, at a certain day and time, and 50 cars were there, and we all saw this bright light go. I thought they were all crazy. They're looking at a bright star. No, that bright star then went back down behind the mountain, and then we saw 4 bright stars leave. say about 2, 3, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and about sunrise, I was able to capture the last one coming back on camera, just as a fireball. I have that, and another guy with a super binocular, he could see. We could all go over and look at behind it. Followed a black helicopter. Each one fireball had a black helicopter following it, and they were at a great distance, but we could see stuff. And
Are you familiar with the fireball, or whatever you want to call it, light at 4 o'clock in the morning, called Old Faithful, that they would see come up behind Area 51 every night? What's that guy's name that filmed it, that just got out of prison? He's a shyster. Was in prison for stealing all that money, Jeremy. In federal prison. Well, anyways, people that were filming that light were consistently saying it was a UFO. It was an alien spaceship. One night, the light comes down around to the left side and lands, and he's filming Old Faithful. And Old Faithful happens to land, and it happens to be a Janet flight coming in at 4 in the morning. And it looked exactly like one of these light balls, whatever you want to call them. Also, something else I just want to say about the lights that were going up and coming down behind the mountain. If you're on Mailbox Road, you do know that Indian Springs Air Force Base, now known as Creech Air Force Base, is right behind Area 51, right? That's the main drone base in the world. And they were testing drones back then all the time. I'm not saying that's what everybody's seen, but it is right there. Jeremy can pull that up on Google Earth, and you can actually see.
Jeremy blows me away. He could do this, but what we got that morning, another guy with another scope. Everybody was sharing. We had 50 cars, more than that, and people. We all had license plate covers saying "Citizen." It was all orchestrated well. And Bob Lazar is the one who got us into that time zone.
Oh, I'm sure he did. You're you doing it Wednesday nights, Thursday nights?
Yes, sir. And I know that there's a lot of shit that they show you just to start the books, and everybody's going in this false direction thinking, hey, I saw. There's a lot of fake crap out there. But what we got, one guy got on.
Oh, no, I don't think any of it's fake. I just think people were seeing drones. There's just no doubt in my mind.
No, here's what I was going to say about that. Here's
the Old Faithful story proved that to me, and Janet flights.
Well, I can't be proved anything by anybody's stuff yet. I can't be 100% sure. But what I'm gonna say to you is, in where we were with all of our people, one of our people, and he was showing us, we could see it with his filters on through his camera. We could see the fireballs were disc turning sideways, heading back into base. We couldn't get much going out, but there was 4 of them, and helicopters following each of them. So whether they
you're watching them go into Area 51.
We didn't watch. Well, it was. We're at Mailbox Road. You're on the road looking at the mailbox.
Yeah, you're 25 miles away from the base when you're on Mailbox Road.
Right, and so straight up from Mailbox Road, you look up, and there's a tower. And up above the tower, the fireball went up and came back down. Then we saw them go out to the left in the morning, right before sunrise. They started to come back in. The last one, there was enough light for my VHS to get it. Now, of all people, I want Jeremy to have my...
You should show the videos. You should show the videos.
No, I don't want to show shit. I'm going to send my stuff to Jeremy. He's the man. I'm going to send him his VHS.
Jeremy Corbell?
The man we're talking
Jeremy.
This Jeremy. There's a lot of Jeremys in ufology. So.
You're not going to send it to Jeremy Corbell, I hope. You mean this Jeremy here?
Yes.
Yeah, he said, I think you meant me.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, let's get off of that. Once I say yes, we don't keep dragging that around. Yes, that's definitely.
There's only one alien scientist, though.
Who's this guy? This guy I don't trust anymore. I used to like him. This guy on the screen. Who is he? I've been watching him for years.
Well, I was interested about the triangles. You went from Alabama triangles to Area 51.
Okay, yeah, I did that.
I'm confused a little bit.
Yeah, that's me talking with too much coffee and no sleep today.
I thought maybe you had a couple beers. It's all good.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong what you thought. And sometimes what you say is
I was hoping you were going to say you saw a flying triangle come out of Area 51, because that's what I want to hear. But
no, that was in Alabama. That was during that period. I can get all those dates. I got a lot of information on that period.
Yeah, dude, I'm not saying that you're, not telling the truth about anything. I'm just saying that I think a lot of what people are seeing out there was what we're seeing in the skies right now all the time. But now that we got all this weird tic-tac stuff going on, who the hell knows what's been going on? Who knows what the truth is? There's so much mud in the water right now. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
they've been
I,
piling the mud in the water for
God,
years.
yeah, they
especially
have.
with these, with these green pyramids now that
Oh,
has
this
been
is all over the
proven
news, and
fake.
it's the
Yep.
fakest story ever, and it's all over the
Yep.
news. It's like I feel like it's a campaign to like discredit us with the greater intellectual and scientific community, because that's what I see happening. You know, with that Fermi Labs video that came out, and Don Lincoln just dissing on the entire field, throwing anti-gravity and the whole mix with it, and saying that all the physics is crap, even with advanced technology. He says,
that guy, you sent me his video.
Yeah, it was scathing, man, and it shows, it shows a direct reflection about what smart people think about us and our community. It's really
could they have used that green pyramid on purpose to say in a month from now, see, hey, look, this was all this was all wrong, and this is all
fake,
BS,
it's all
fake,
hoax,
just to make us all look like idiots, even though we didn't agree with it. Nick West, I think, is right on the money about it. I know he is.
But aren't you a part of it?
Part of what?
I like, you gotta see some of my friends. If you ever look at
we're all the UFO community, man. It's like we
dude,
get
I
lumped
used
in.
to be a lot. I used to really believe every UFO story there was, and then I became really skeptical, man. I got to be honest with you.
I used to
I'm
believe
more
a lot
skeptical
more too
these
when
days.
I first got into this with this. It was like Disclosure Project was like the biggest thing on the internet back then, and it was thankfully before the days of David Wilcock and Corey Good and the Cosmic Disclosure crew, because I feel like that it just piled so
really
much
things. Yeah,
it ruined everything. Cosmic Disclosure and what those fake whistleblowers did for muddying the water, and just they make the next generation that had to come into this in the middle of that crap just had it just sucks.
Fred, who do you know? Fred, who we probably know some same people. So you were out there in the early '90s with 50 cars. I mean, did you run around with John Lear or any of them? Did you run around with Gene Huff or any of those guys?
No,
did you know who did you run around with out at Area 51? I was saying Sean David Morton. He's the one that filmed Old Faithful. He's the one that just got out of jail for stealing all kind of money, but he was the one that filmed Old Faithful, and that whole story there is crazy. But who were you out at Area 51 with? I love talking about Area 51.
Can you hear me?
Fred, are you awake? Fred,
can you hear me?
Fred,
yeah, I can hear you a little bit. You're real quiet, Fred.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Who were you out there with, Fred? I want to hear some of your story.
The guy who put it together it came from a UFO once a month meeting in Santa Monica.
Ben Campbell.
No.
Ben Campbell used to be the organizer.
If you're trying to get the answer out of somebody and you give them an answer, you're kicking the can. So before you kick the can,
but we're not talking about anything classified or anything. I'm just asking.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm about to give you an answer, and you're trying to throw answers before me because I'm trying to remember. I think he had two names. Schultz was his go-by name.
Gary Schultz.
Yes, Gary Schultz, and he had
Gary Schultz took a very interesting picture that looks just like a UFO at Area 51. It's the only UFO picture I've ever seen at Area 51 that's really good. Jeremy, type in Gary Schultz Area 51 UFO once. It's really good.
That's the one I was with him when he took that picture.
You were? Wow.
Yeah, I was there. There was. And it was so well put together. Everybody had tagged. I got an audio recording somewhere of a sheriff harassing us until Gary threw out our rights, and Gary knew his rights pretty well.
Wow, Gary's still around. I'd
like to talk to him. The guy who drove me down there in the carpool on the way back, he said, "I'm changing my profession. I didn't want to tell you. Nobody knows this, but I'm telling you. Wait, I'm DEA." And that blew me away because what he told me and what we went in. And so when we took my video into Kinko's back then, our copyright on Sunset and
I'm trying to find this Gary Schultz video, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
SCHUL.
If you can find it, Dan, and post the link. That way, you're better at finding that stuff sometimes. Now you search UFO video, and all that comes up is this Pentagon triangle.
No, it's a problem. It's a big Area 51 UFO. As soon as I type that in,
So all right,
Yeah,
so there's
Gary.
Let's
Gary-
let Fred talk though. I want to hear him.
I got it. I found the picture. Go
who
ahead.
did that. And that was from a meeting put together by a girl that claimed that she was taken up in the canyon, Laurel Canyon, in a craft. And it was like so much like an advanced Star Trek. And she would always put these meetings up. And she had a boyfriend that was goofy. One day I said, "Is he an alien?" And she wouldn't answer me.
Jeremy, the picture's in the private chat. Go ahead.
You got the picture of that?
Yeah, I found it already. Yeah. See if it comes up. Yep. It's in the sky.
Okay, it's private chat.
Oh, this one, huh?
Yeah, I don't pull it up on the screen. Take a look at it. I think that's the best proof of what is out there.
One I still know. Is there another one? Because
Jeremy, now what's that kind of remind you of? Mark McCandlish's ARV now, doesn't it? The alien reproduction vehicle. You have two stages.
That same kind of general shape, but again, that was copied from a number of UFOs in the 50s and stuff. So
that one doesn't look.
Here's a better picture of it, I think. Let me look a little more. It's so, as you said, it's very difficult to find because everything's green pyramids now, and Bob Lazar, Billy Meyer ship that comes up, unfortunately.
That's it. It's. I swear, it's counterintelligence.
It is. My God, the tic tac.
It's so obvious, man. It's so obvious. That stuff's all front and center, and there's all the like. People have been researching this. All the good stuff's gone. All the good stuff's gone, and it's all the crap at disinformation is just front and center.
No, Jeremy, stop it. You're. I'm gonna say this weird ass thing. You're chosen to do something, and you're doing it. It's going to open up for you. Dr. Greer would love it to be him and another bunch of shitheads out there. But I really feel you're the man we need to support because I think they're going to deal through you. You seem to be the most honest out there I've seen in 20 years in this field. I've been dealing since '85 in this shit. And you've outrang everybody when it comes to trying to speak honestly after you find something honest. You really blow me away, and you've got my
Fred. How long have you worked for the CIA? If you don't mind me asking.
No, jeez.
No, here's what's weird. No, what's your name?
I'm just kidding, man.
Oh, you want to talk? You want to hear this? What is his name?
Go ahead. Tell us the story, man. I was just joking around,
Jeremy,
buddy.
who's this guy I'm talking to?
Dan
this
the man.
Is Dan. He's a good friend of mine, man. He means well. All right.
I was just kidding around with you, man. I've been around.
I need a name. I can't respond to you if you don't give me a name. Dan, you know, you've caught me a few times. You won't let me finish. And there was a time when I spent time with Jim Sparks. But when I went to the Jim Sparks meeting, the first time he spoke ever by Clearwater at a MUFON meeting, first time he was nervous. I brought in a guy that used to work for the CIA, and he was a top debugger of America. And he took a voice stress analyzer, and that was a big unit back then. And he said, this guy thinks he's telling the truth because he's definitely got something. So Jim Sparks, as the total recall guy, was really interesting in private meetings with him. I've dated a contactee out of Switzerland. But the list goes on. So
you've been around for a little while, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was messing with you a little bit there.
No, but so here's the deal right now. I've got a very big door for these producers. Been at Warner Brothers for 50 years. Father started.
Oh,
trying to find female-driven drama. So I'm working on a female-driven drama of a girl that used to work at the CIA. So that's all cool shit to work on this TV show for that and learning some stuff and creating stuff. We anything I don't make up, she got to get approved. But then she invites me to Ops Lens. I meet the head of that, and I'm trying to hook him up with Kevin Sorbo and also with John Voight, direct to
Kevin Sorbo, the actor, I've seen the picture of him recently. Man, he's aged.
You know what Fukushima
used to be? He wasn't the guy that used to be freaking Hercules or something. What's that?
He was, and he was in Andromeda. He does his own films now, mostly Christian based. He's got Walmart wrapped around his finger for distribution. But so anyway, Op Lens, if you don't know who they are, they freak me out. These guys are about a dozen CIA former investigative agents that used to pull files together for presidents of countries and corporations. So to work directly with this girl caused me then to work. She's an editor at Op Lens. Are you guys familiar with Op Lens?
No.
They like the truth.
Op Lens.
I'm a old. They're powerful. If you want something investigated, you don't get much better than these guys. Oplens.com, they got their own app. They encourage people to make a video and put it up. That's what they're trying to do.
Dude, let's go to the Wright Patterson and do that Wright State Tunnel System story and get them on it. They'd be right. This would be right up their alley.
What do you mean?
So there's a whole theory about the Wright State Tunnel System. There's a lot of rumors that are spread by people at the college that the entire tunnel system was built pre-World War, post World War II. Sorry, like right after Roswell, and it was like part of the base's top secret facility for researching the Roswell materials and stuff. Because there's stories around the campus about aliens being kept down there in the tunnels.
There's tunnels all below Wright-Patterson Air Force Base that go to what's the college there, Jeremy? What's the college?
It's Wright State University.
That's right, Wright State. Underground tunnel system wide enough to drive 2 vehicles down through these hallways, but there's supposed to be air conditioning ducts and heating duct work, and that's bullshit. You know that.
Yeah, if you look up Wright State tunnels, here I'll bring it up on the picture. There's a whole bunch of pictures of these tunnels. They said that they were built for, they said they were built for HVAC ducts, but they're 2 lanes wide. You could drive a military jeep.
It looks like a hospital. Looks like an underground hospital, right? That's
yeah. It looks like the basement of Miriam Hospital, or or some of these other hospitals that I've worked in.
Looks like that's what I picture an underground military base to look like. Solid concrete, so you're blast proof. Look at that. That at one time was some kind of underground base that was.
There's entire room sections apparently that are filled in and sealed off, and they redid the whole construction on the campus in the 60s when they built it. And the first building that they built on the campus was named Alien Hall, ALLYN Hall.
Yes, isn't that weird? That's where the government went to go when they wanted to be alone. They went underground under Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Why? Because they had stuff like Roswell or whatever the hell, you know?
Yeah, and also the local geology was really easy and really good for tunnel building. It was, it's really easy to work with soils. It's not like clay or sand or any of this. It's all just pure glacial till.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. They have these tunnels there's no way these things were built for HVAC ducts and then remodeled for the school. Just, the story makes no sense.
Look at that. You can drive a car through there easily or a Jeep, whatever. I mean, think about that.
It's one of the key parts of like the college though, is that they, that you can get anywhere on campus underground through this tunnel system. And even during the winter, you can wear shorts to class.
Yeah, it's wild.
But
YT Brian, watch the disinfo. It's going to ramp up. Who put that up?
I forgot to take it down. I'm just highlighting comments from the live chat.
People say all kinds of weird stuff, Fred. If you watch this show enough, by the end of the show, I'll be called all kinds of names. And
Dumbs ain't a conspiracy theory. Yeah, these are the deep underground military bases. The tunnel contractors, that's
Roots knows. Yeah, they aren't no conspiracy, are they, bro?
The tunnels have been around a lot longer than you think.
That's what I heard. That's
go down there and turn your car on. That would be cool, wouldn't it? That would sound good down there.
Around, you can take a submarine.
Turn my car on. He said. The guy said because the way it would sound down there, and it's always be pretty vicious.
Well, Jeremy heard me good.
Especially with open doors or something.
I'm working on.
I'm going to ride my Harley down through there.
I'm trying to slowly acquire a building that's. I've been told you'll never get it, but if you're big enough, you can buy companies. You can buy NASA. So there's a place nearby me. I have pictures of it. Its code name is Ant Hill. 40 levels deep down below. It's supposed to go into the tunnels. Now Raython bought it from Northrop, who used to use it. Mountain opens up. It's a long story. It's 40 levels deep. The hangars up on top are cool. The runways have pylons in them. They've never been used, but why do they have runways? Anybody here familiar with Ant Hill? It's 138.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Where is that?
I'm trying to acquire it. You want to see a picture?
Well, David Marler looks exactly like an extraterrestrial in that picture, Jeremy. Hold on a second. Don't.
What? What the hell is that? You know what an alien looks like? I heard you just act like that. You act what?
He
That man
looked
just said
just like
it
a.
looks just like an alien. How the hell
Well,
do you know
David
what an
Marler
alien
in that
looks like?
picture did look like an alien. That was
How the
bizarre.
hell
He
do you know
does.
what how the hell do you know what an alien looks
An
like? They all look
alien
like
looks like that
Kirk.
guy on the right. He
They all
Aliens
looks
could
look
like
look
that guy
just
on the
like
right.
us. What if they looked just like us and they were indistinguishable? You know,
There's a theory about that, Jeremy.
yeah,
What's that called? Where they say that all intelligent creatures would end up eventually looking like similar to us.
humanoids. I talked about that and why intelligence is more likely to be
It's cool.
simian type animal
Yes.
body types, and it's about the trees. It's because our ancestors lived in trees, and the networks of the trees and the topology that they'd have to remember to find the paths through the branches was like what like the smartest one. That's what set up the evolutionary chain, because you need an evolutionary mechanism that favors only the most intelligent members of the species in order to develop intelligent life. You need a natural selection which naturally selects the smartest in order to evolve intelligent life in a Darwinian evolution cycle. So it's very possible that all alien life are humanoids or humanoid type and have ancestors that lived in trees.
I wouldn't say all. One of my friends,
I,
Terry,
I don't know.
51, he
Maybe
worked
we're
at
all
Area
nuts.
51 for quite a few years, and he also worked on Fukushima rebuilding reactors. And he says it's about 47,000 species been here. And what does he know?
Wait a minute. Your friend worked at Area 51. You just said. Let's
Yeah,
hear about him.
scientist.
Let's hear about him, brother. Tell us some stuff, Fred. You've been around for a while.
No, right now,
Tell
what
us
I'm
some
not
stuff,
going to
bro.
tell you is about
Come
that.
on.
I'm going to, no. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're getting on a donkey right now. You can't kick me and get me going. I'm going to show you
It's
something.
like drugs to me.
Wait.
Listen, talking about
Wait,
UFOs
are you
is
ready?
like drugs to
Are
me.
you ready?
You know?
I'm about
Yeah,
ready
I
to
love
say,
drugs.
are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm about to. Here I go. It's in the private chat. You can put it on the big screen if you want. This is a picture of Ant Hill. Pretty close. I keep trying to get closer, but the minute you do, this abandoned thing will take off and these white trucks come after you.
What's in the private chat? I don't see it there, Fred.
Here it is.
I'm in the private chat, bro.
That's it right there. I just hit it.
Jeremy, you want to pull that up?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the private chat. I just want to point out that Ant Hill is like, what a perfect name for a secret base, bro. Because like
40
anyone who
levels
searches,
deep. Man,
anyone who searches Ant Hill is gonna find ant hills. It's just like
I know.
it's just a common
How
word.
How deep is each level there, Fred?
You just said that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Back in the 70s, I was a head mechanic for a welding company, biggest welding company in Colorado. I went out to Rocky Flats once to fix a welder. I get there. It's a big building, about 3 stories high, big giant. I don't know. I don't know how big it was. I mean, huge. And the guy said, I got to go down 3 levels, follow the ramp, and there'll be somebody down there to check in with them. And the welder is down there. Every level I walked down, I wish I would have drove. Each level was about 5 stories deep. That was Rocky Flats. So when I look at Ant Hill, I've not been in their levels, but if they're normals, they're 10 feet. If they're like what I personally witnessed at Rocky Flats, they're about 50 feet per level. So I don't know how deep this goes down, but right now, of all things, Raython owns it. I've got info on Raython that if I started to bring it out, they would want to kill my ass for what I found out.
Wow, they're the weapons developing systems, huh?
They were it wasn't that. Anthill was more of a base where these craft would come in and go down real deep. Okay, and the mountain would open. I got another guy that works security.
So are you 100% saying that that the ETs are going underground in these places? You think? Have you ever heard of a place called Mount Hayes in Alaska? Got an underground base. It's been remote viewed. I know you guys hate remote viewing. A guy that was a detective named Pat Price.
Remote viewing. I just don't. I'm just skeptical of it. And
well, what's interesting about it is a number of remote viewers hit on. Here's what happens. They were remote viewing something over in Russia, and sometimes they were getting pulled to this place in Alaska, and it's called Mount Hayes, Alaska. They sent teams up there a few years ago, and they filmed an incredible UFO above it. And the thing goes right into the ground. And where it goes into the ground the snow's all blown away, and there's a ton of tungsten within the snow. But check this out. In 2002 or 2005, there were two guys. People climb Mount Hayes, and a hiker. I mean, not a hiker. The one climber was up on the mountain and saw an incredible
So
UFO
Mount Hayes
right
is
above
in
him.
Alaska,
Yep.
Dan, and you were talking about Antarctica. So
No, I didn't say Antarctica, did I? I meant Alaska. Mount
No,
Hayes.
you said Alaska at first.
Jeremy, these two hikers were up there, right? And or mountain climbers. The one mountain climber sees a perfect UFO above him. He's staring at it. When he comes back down to camp, his partner's missing, and they've never found him since. The case is all over the news. It can be found anywhere on here. And the last thing he saw was UFO. There's James Fox, I think, went there. But these remote viewers in the 70s had said there's something at Mount Hayes, Alaska, and it was two remote viewers that didn't know each other. And it's an interesting story. And there's a really good video of the UFO these guys filmed. They put a camera up there and just let it film for like 30 days. And they come back and checked it every day or whenever on the computer, and they see this thing hover around and go straight down into the ground. And the snow was filled with tungsten. They said it went Mach 1 into the ground. It's really bizarre. I know it's out there for people listening, but I'm out there. So I believe shit that people out there probably think this guy is out of his mind.
Why would tungsten? What's tungsten got to do with anything with their finding?
I don't know. I don't know, but I can show you the video where they do the sample and everything. It's that's one of the major networks took it on. The History Channel, I think, did. It was called the Alaskan Triangle.
You know,
the video is called the Alaskan Triangle.
Dan, do you know if that is a burnt tungsten or just a tungsten particle? Do you have any idea what it was?
I don't know. I can pull the video up. It's called the Alaskan Triangle. It's on YouTube here, and it's really interesting because the scientist was baffled. He said there's no reason for this amount of tungsten to be anywhere up here or anywhere naturally, period. It was everywhere because they were able to estimate exactly where this UFO had gone into the ground just by the video they had saw. It was on the other side of the mountain, and sure enough, they hike over there, and there's this big, there's 5 feet of snow, 30 feet round, missing.
Dan, you're usually skeptical in debunking cases, but you believe in this one about the?
I believe in Mount Hayes. Yeah. Hold on a minute here.
So this is another one.
Because of the guy going missing. Because the guy.
You don't think he killed his friend and blamed it on UFOs? That'd be a good excuse,
Yeah, it sure would be. But these guys didn't know anything about the remote viewing of the base and all that stuff, having any UFO lore or anything from the 70s. So I mean,
weird.
And who the hell would want to climb a mountain that's supposedly in base below it?
So I got some. I just want to give a shout out to the live chat guys. Those of you just coming in, you can smash the like button and help out the channel. Again, if we don't. I like to mix up the scientific content with some of this UFO stuff and talk about credible cases, and we dig into cases and we try to get new information out. So if you have any new cases or new information, anything to say about flying triangles or UFOs, or you want to jump on and
here's the Mount Hayes UFO. I put it in the private chat, Jeremy, and I'm putting it in the outside chat.
Yeah, jump on the StreamYard link there if you guys want to jump on the call and share your story or your information.
Yeah, Jeremy. It's not
again, you don't have to agree with all the content. I'm trying to branch out and gain a bigger audience and do more of these podcasts and do different types of shows. So if you don't like the content tonight, and you're more on the scientific and physics side of stuff, wait till I have some guests on that are talking about that stuff. And I have plenty of other stuff on my channel for to check out if you guys are
Jeremy.
What I was going to say real quick, Jeremy, was the Mount Hayes thing is there's been so many people that have seen the UFOs around Mount Hayes, pilots especially, and I want to tell you something else that's interesting about Mount Hayes. Guess what took place above Mount Hayes? The 1986 Japan Air UFO case, which is possibly the best well-known UFO case there is when it comes to aviation.
Really?
Pilot
That was
Terahashi was a Japan Airlines pilot. They were flying goods back and forth between the United States and Japan. He sees him and the crew of 7, seen a massive UFO, 100 times the size of the airplane, in the sky, and there's 2 UFOs flying in and out of it. And what happened was this went on for 45 minutes. John Callahan was the head of the FAA at the time. And what ended up happening was this pilot was sequestered for, I forget, like a week here in the United States, and the crew, and they swore the guy to secrecy. Well, as soon as he got back to Japan, he told the entire story, because over there, they don't care. You can report UFOs, okay? So he tells the entire story. John Callahan gets called into the White House about this. Ronald Reagan was the president at the time. And they said this never happened. And their excuse was to ground radar that it was a classified airplane. But they knew from the size that no way, this thing was huge. This thing was over a couple thousand feet large. Yeah, you can pull up read about it. There's plenty of stuff on here about it, but it happened to go over where Mount Hayes was, which is what's really interesting. That's why I'm saying Alaska's a great place to look for UFOs. It's also more people go missing in Alaska than any other state. Now they do have wildlife that eat you, and you can fall into crevasses, all kinds of crazy stuff that can happen. But they have people that just disappear out of thin air that haven't been in the wild and haven't been anywhere else, like that they would fall into a crevasse. It's interesting state, tons of UFO activity up there. I look at Alaska lately when I look at UFOs because I think there's stuff going on up there. I could be 100% freaking wrong, but I'm tired of looking at Area 51 in places that are a waste of my time and your time. Not ever going to see anything out of Area 51 ever again. It's burnt.
Yeah, it was definitely decommissioned in the 90s as a top secret test facility with all the eyes that were drawn upon it. And again, we've identified several other sites where it would be much more. Alaska, look at all the Air Force bases here in Alaska.
Oh, yeah, there's so much defense going on up there, bro. Another thing cool is, too, we have Fred, who was at Area 51 on here with 50 people. What's interesting is I know about the caravans that went up there at the time. Now, think about that, Jeremy. 50 cars were going to Area 51. And, Fred, I'm sure you've seen the buses go up there, too, right?
Wait. You got to get a laugh out of this. We had Gary said he was command. He said, front car lights on, back car lights on, so we can see the difference. We're following 50 cars on a dusty road, and you're almost hitting everybody because all you got is brake lights in your eyes. It must have looked like a centipede to the security of Area 51. They were probably laughing. 50 cars following each other, and the only cars with lights on were the back car and the front car. It was a joke. It was fun.
Yeah,
they wanted their lights off so we didn't raise attention. So it's hard to imagine. The front car had the headlights, all the lights on, and we're at nighttime and we're following with maybe park lights and brake lights popping everywhere. It must have looked like a real.
I'd like this show. I'd like for people to see that UFO video. That's funny. That is so wrong. The actual UFO, yeah, it did look like an acorn. It did look like Saturn, but it was so much larger than that. The actual scale of it somewhere. It was 1,000. It was over 1,000 feet in length, they said. And the 2 UFOs that were shooting out of it were cylinder, cigar shaped, and they were massive too, but they weren't nearly as big as the actual main ship. But yeah, Mount Hayes. There's some really interesting stuff going on. These people that went missing. Here's the video, Jeremy, of the UFO. If you I don't know if you can show something like that. It's a commercial. I don't see why not. It looks like Bob Lazar's UFO, kind of. You know, how it hovers around over the mountain and drops straight down in. That's what's interesting. Could be
you showed me this. You showed me this. These guys. This is like crazy that these guys get a show, man, and we're just, this is our show.
Well, I know, but you want to know something, Jeremy? That show. I think there was that Alaskan thing there. Those guys, all they did was that missing in Alaska, and that was it. A couple shows, that was it, and they were gone. They're not. There's no show at all.
There's no show anymore, huh? These guys, that was it.
No, I think somebody was like, I don't think it's good for tourism up there, you know, to be shown that people went missing at Mount Hayes. Alaska doesn't want people out there to know that 1 out of every 12 people in Alaska disappears and they're never found. Isn't that bizarre? Look up the amount of people that go missing in Alaska right now. It's startling. So
I think you just increased serial killer like immigration to the state by 25%.
It could.
You just peaked like what? That's a great place.
People
go missing all the time, and then think of all the land out there and all this space, dude. You know.
Oh yeah, here's the video. Now these guys had a camera. Look, now watch this thing. Supposedly it goes over. They're showing where they angle where it goes down at. Watch this. I guess is the sound not playing, or can you play it? You want me to? Let me get the video about the tungsten. You want to hear what the scientist says about where it goes through the snow at?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
That's the part that's really fine.
I also
when did we make
minute 34 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
This is about the climber and what he saw. Put it in
posted in the private chat.
The guy that disappeared. Yeah, show that while I find what the scientist said. I'd turn the volume up so we can hear it too, if you could. Can't hear it.
You can't hear it, huh?
Well, maybe they can though. Hold on a minute. I know why. Let me check.
I've got.
Let me do this again.
Well, maybe they can. No, I can't hear. No, the volume's no good.
Definitely a steep one. You know, when you're out trekking and you're climbing up over.
How about now?
There it is. Yeah.
Ice and snow, and just the blowing cold sub-zero temperatures out there. It's pretty miserable.
Nothing but blue ice. Tommy and I both fell at one point and got stuck between our feet and our knees. And if Ken hadn't been there, I don't know how we would have gotten up.
Yeah, slow and easy. Hard to see where we're going here.
That terrain was very rough and very hard to get through.
They use this to find where that UFO went into the ground.
UFO investigation for me was coming across the snow circle.
It was almost perfect depth all the way around.
Let's get a sample. We can take it back and analyze.
Then the samples we took from it were.
This is where the tungsten comes from,
which really isn't associated with on haze.
It actually had no explanation at all.
What do you got? It's 22 feet exactly. Holy crap!
It was in the exact dimensions. No snow was melted around it. It just didn't make any sense how it got there.
Wow.
If this is true, now let me look for these.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm going to show you what the scientist said. Let me.
It might have been like a spot, you know. Well, what if it was just like a place
where it landed? Yeah.
No, well, think about elk, the wildlife that could have been there. Sometimes like deer will like they'll all get into a circle.
To make a perfect flat spot like that, though. What about?
Yeah, there'd be tracks around everywhere. There'd be tracks.
Show the beginning of the guy going missing there, because I didn't hear that.
Well, let me see. Yeah, there'd be animal tracks leading to and from it.
Those guys are experts in Alaska. Those guys are experts. Yeah. Go to the beginning and show the going missing. That's what got me.
I know that might be shocking. This is a professional bounty hunter, and if he successfully hunts me down, he gets...
The professional bounty hunter, huh?
Jeremy,
I'm going to try to get some money
the very
for
beginning,
a couple
bro.
resources.
Should be the very beginning of this.
What I'm going to start doing is I'm going to monetize my site, and I'm going to offer memberships and start.
Because if you look at Mr. Beast, his membership went from nothing to $4.99 a month. He's got 60 million followers.
Yeah,
so
I want to.
You're going to gain his respect. I'm dealing with his management, so
I'm working.
He went to Area 51. Mr. Beast, Jimmy, went to Area 51. And he can pull together 30.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
If I can find a way to monetize this,
with these armies,
we'll do something. We're going to create an army of people and start bringing disclosure to a whole nother
Yeah,
level.
well, they're going to
Can you
try
show
to
this from the
squash you.
beginning, please, Jeremy? I'm losing my mind, so I know what I need to pull up here.
You need duplicate sites. You need duplicate people. They're going to try
No,
to
this
squash
is not.
you.
No, this ain't the right video. It's the last video I sent you. I want you to see the hiker going disappearing. I think they have testimony from the guy that disappeared. Yeah, here we go.
Mountain
Turn the sound up.
Markham was descending from a successful summiting of Mount Hayes in Alaska.
There we go.
Turn the sound up.
A U-shaped orb glowing in the sky above. When Markham
can't.
arrived at base
Turn
camp,
the sound up.
A lot of people don't go to Mount Hayes. There's a lot of paths and stuff.
arrived at base
We were out there. A lot of people don't
That
go.
was that story.
He's got his sound on.
Hey man, I gotta mute you. Sorry.
Can't hear anything when he does that. The whole video is like that. Listen, I'm gonna find the scientist video, but when that comes on, you gotta
The
mute him out.
tungsten, huh? So they took those
Yes.
samples of snow and they sent it in, and there was
From that
tungsten in
flat
the
spot,
snow.
it had incredible amounts of tungsten, and it's a rare type of tungsten. So the way it was configured. So hold on a
What
minute.
do you
Here, let
mean,
me
like
find it.
isotopic or
That's what I got to find. I'm trying to find the video. That's why I was seeing what I sent you. I got to go back to where I was to find that. I have to find the episode now. Hang on.
Weird.
I'm going to be going for a couple of minutes to find this stuff. But yeah, he's got to be muted, bro, or you ain't going to hear nothing.
Am I being muted like Facebook muted me for 2 years?
No, it's just that you mute your
I know.
mic when you're
No, I
not
did for a
talking.
minute. I turned another monitor on to watch. Two different
All right.
things, but I'm good. I
Let's
just did it for a second.
I want to
Swagged.
so this Mount Hayes case, and it's this is the same area as that Japan Airlines case. This is a high UFO
It came
activity
from that.
area.
It came from that location. I found, Jeremy, I'm putting it in the private chat. I found the entire episode, which is free from history. Now,
Why the tungsten though? That's just so weird. Tungsten, you know.
where the scientist talks, okay? The chat. Now I'm going to find the time. There's something with UFOs and tungsten. You didn't know anything about that? You should.
I didn't say that. You got to quit putting words in my mouth.
Tungsten's used. No, I'm talking to Jeremy. Tungsten's used in welding, which is bizarre, you know, and they find tungsten around UFO cases a lot.
Huh. I wonder if it's part of the 3D printing process they use to make their craft. I don't know.
Oh wow, wouldn't that be interesting as hell? They're doing they come to Earth to do a repair on the ship. Think about that. Wouldn't that be interesting as hell?
I don't think they need to do that, but
Well, I mean,
I don't
think
know.
about it. Maybe they come to Earth to do repairs like we go to a garage. I mean, I'm just saying that's
I also
that's
think,
bizarre
like,
theory. That's cool, actually.
why is the metal wearing off? Why is the metal coming off of this and leaching into the snow? If why would it just the UFO just took a nap on the snow bed there? I just sat down on the snow, take a rest. I mean, come on, what is going on?
You have to watch the whole episode. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you what the scientist here in 2 minutes. I'm going to give you exact second, minute, whatever.
So, did you guys see the? My friend dug this thing up in Middleborough. I posted it on Twitter earlier. Let me bring it up so I can show it. I got to go take a look at this because he just sent me the picture on the phone. I haven't actually gone and seen it, but I do want to show you this rock that he unearthed in in the cranberry bog. Apparently, he was digging out the cranberry bog for a new part. And
Hey, Jeremy, in the private chat, I hate to interrupt you, but I have a timestamp set. Everything. All you have to do is click on that link, and the scientist comes on. So I didn't want to interrupt you, but there it is in the private chat, bro. Yeah, talk about your rock there.
I don't know if you saw this, but it's got like a moon carved in it. It's got all these lines carved around it. It's about someone said it could be a bird bath because it was the size of a bird bath. but it's
Oh,
not
wow.
concrete. It's like carved out of granite or something.
Was that in the location where they find rune stones and stuff, like up in the northeast?
It's in Carver, Mass, where
Yep.
and civilizations around Carver, Mass go back to like 10,000 BC.
Yep. Yep. I believe that they were up there way before Columbus was. People from the Vikings and stuff were supposedly
It could be
up
some
there.
Viking. It could be Viking because it looks very similar to the Dighton Rock. There's a Dighton Rock in
Yep. Yeah, that's not a bird bath. That is some kind of symbol. They would use these as like maps or guides. They would know if they'd go here, they need to go so many clicks or whatever to the east or whatever, let's say, or look at the star and go. That's some kind of map because the moon is involved, right? Almost, if you sit back and look at it, it looks like an all-seeing eye. But the moon's involved. That's some kind of map. It's some kind of map, if you ask me, telling them to, hey, on a certain day, go this way. You know, that's the only way they knew to find each other back then. No cell phones, no walkie-talkies.
Yeah, that's a rune stone.
Yes, it is. It's crazy, isn't it? Your friend found that. No one else ever seen that before, huh?
He said he unearthed that rock, and when he turned it over, it had that carving on it, and so he washed it off and set it out in the sun, then took this picture, and he said he found it around it. He found a whole bunch of stone spheres. These granite balls that have been ground down to like almost near perfect spheres.
How large is this, Jeremy? In diameter, how much would you say it weighs? You know, is this? Are we talking about?
This is probably what we're looking at right here. Is probably
looks big.
It's probably about 20 inches across.
Oh wow! So we're talking about 150, 200-pound stone. They didn't want this thing moved. This thing can be worth a fortune. Did he take it?
It's still sitting there, man. I told him, I was like, he doesn't want to report it because he's afraid, the antiquities is going to come down on his land and be like,
no, man, listen, all you need to do is get a hold of forensic scientist Mark Wolter. Do you know who Mark Wolter is? Wolter. He does this stuff for a living. He'll come look at it for free. He's a scientist. He knows all about this shit, man. Mark Wolter. He's incredible. He's been on TV a bunch of times. He really knows his stuff, man. Or it's either Mark or Scott Wolter. Hold on a minute. It's a forensic geologist or something.
Yeah, sorry. That was Fred. He's got the background. But Fred, do you want to jump on and say a couple more things? And
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm sorry to just get distracted with this rock. We'll look into it. And we'll keep.
No, it's the rock. The rock. Leave the rock. I'm talking about it. It reminds me of what I found out about the Mormons. Do you know the Mormons found 2 gold plates that kind of look like stuff like this, and that's where they formed their religion, from the gold plates that this boy had a dream about, or he went out and found these 2 gold plates. Are you aware of that?
I know about the Mormon religion. What?
No, do you know about the gold plates that started the religion? This kid found these plates from a guy talking to him.
What's the kid's name?
The point is, don't know. I'm not good with that kind of memory, but Mormon history is they have these golden plates that they found, and some speculated it was from an alien thing, and others say it was from God, and they formed the Mormons off of what this kid said.
Yeah, his name is first, oh God, what is his name? Hold on a minute here. I have paperwork on this. Well, I have files on what you're talking about. First of all, there's a Book of Mormon in gold, and they're like drawings and all kinds of stuff on it. That's totally something different, though. I can't, man, it'll take forever getting involved in something like that. Jeremy, show what that scientist says. We'll look the gold thing up here.
Yeah, let's watch this. I want to see the scientist, and Mikey says he thinks these guys are lying on the TV show for a TV. Join, and I just posted
well, let's see what the
link.
Scientist says. See what the scientist says, and then we'll see if they're lying. Okay. See what.
I want to check this out too, man.
Mute the dude's microphone, Jeremy, please. And it's the bottom YouTube link here. It's already time set. So
Right here?
You're showing Scott Wolter right now. He's the guy I told you to look up that rock. Go above that to the YouTube link that's set.
Good to see you again,
Yeah.
Jim.
Good to see you. Hello.
Well, what have you got for us? Eagerly awaiting this.
I got your samples. I tested it with an ohm meter and tested its electrical resistance. And what I found was your control samples completely normal in every way. That was very similar to tap water, but sample number 2, very unusual. It tests out at 50 parts per million of tungsten. 0.1 part per million is normal.
So 500 times more?
Yeah, definitely an anomaly on the Earth's surface.
Well, where could tungsten, that amount of tungsten, come from?
There's only 2 things that I can think of. First would be meteorite.
We didn't see an impact point in the epicenter, did we?
No, it was
I didn't notice that.
completely flat. Did no burn marks. No impact. It's going to make a perfect dimensions of 22 feet by 15 and a half. What would be another possibility?
The only other option I can think of is it came up from deep inside the core of the Earth. Think magma, think volcanoes.
There are no volcanoes in that area.
So those are the only 2 possibilities, sir?
Only 2 I can think of.
This makes me think about the story that Brent told us. As outlandish as it sounds, because there's no volcanoes in the area, it actually lends credence to the possibility that we could be talking about an entry point for an alien base deep under the ground.
Would tungsten have any type of radioactive element? We were getting extremely high readings on our Geiger counter.
Radioactivity, no, not at all.
Well, we've certainly found something we can't explain. I mean, there's so many variables in our planet, in our universe, that we can't even wrap our heads around, you know?
According to Jim Anderson, the only places to find concentrations of tungsten that high are in outer space or deep under the ground. In other words, the 2 places where aliens might live.
So you had 50 parts per million of tungsten.
This subject matter of UFOs, I am highly skeptical about.
Yeah.
But what we've seen and dealt with in this investigation, talking with Brent, having Wilbur help us, the things our cameras picked up, what we physically saw with our eyes as far as the snow circle, it just leads me to be going from one end of the spectrum to somewhere in the middle. That there's a possibility that Mount Hayes has something occurring in it.
Oh, that was getting good, man. Are you stopping it? That's the end of the show.
I'm not saying that there is, but it would need a lot more work. I mean, you're talking about possibly having to excavate the mountain.
As you know, that'd be impossible for us to do. The amount of money, get equipment in such a remote location, there's no way that's going to happen.
The theory that Mount Hayes has a UFO base is ultimately hard to prove or disprove. Whatever's going on there would take military-level resources and funding to pursue. But we have seen some very strange stuff, and we can speculate. I got thinking about the indentation we found in the snow. Doesn't it seem kind of small to you? 22 feet's a decent measurement, but it's not obviously transporting human-sized people, very many of them anyways.
It's just a small little patch in the snow.
Wilbur was talking about little beings that came in his room that were only like, 3 to 4 feet tall. That's pretty typical as far as the way people describe these aliens. There are
Fuck off if people don't want to watch it. Fuck it.
Smaller. For example, in the Atacama Desert of South America, they've found these little mummies that are like 6 inches tall. Apparently, they have the features of aliens. Okay, check it out. Here's the mummies. Can you see those little guys?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. You can just turn this part off. I was just showing the fact that there's UFOs seen up around this place. Yes, these guys could be full of shit. It could be an act, whatever. But it's something. It was something to look at. There's UFO activity up there, whether people like it or not, and that's what I was trying to point out. Whether they're telling the truth or not, I'm not God, so I have no idea. That's all I can tell you, man. I hate it when people complain in the middle of the night because it turns me into a complainer. So that's all I have to say about it. You might want to check the Japan airline video out, Jeremy, if you can find one that's pretty good. I can find one if you want. That will actually show you the actual real size of the Japan Air UFO, because that's a joke there. It was way bigger than that.
Stream is down. Stream is down on my main computers. Can't see it. A phone and a computer says stream is down.
Hello, what's going on? It says unavailable. They cut the stream for showing that thing. I hope that I don't know what happened there.
You don't know why they cut the stream. You just said you don't know why.
It's because it's
I would
History
bet
Channel.
I would bet somebody reported it. You know, they're commercials.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
probably
that's
this
what I
troll
should-
that. It was probably this troll that was on there, man. You know, this guy.
Somebody had got drinking too much from the Oscars party tonight. And they dropped a bottle of water
Dan
on
got him busted. Thanks, Dan. See that? Yeah. What's that guy's name on there? I'm going to tell him to go fuck himself.
There, it's up. It's up.
No, someone had to have reported it, man. Other than that, it might have just got the algorithms hit it because it found that video, and then they probably sent someone to check it out and then to see. This is informational use, man. I'm sorry that's covered. I thought that was covered under fair use. We can show this stuff and talk about it. I'm not just literally. We're having
Two
a watch
of them were
party.
literally fucking commercials. Two of them were literally minute-long commercials that are just commercials on YouTube or that you would see on the TV. Two of them.
You know what it was? It's too. I used that Hangar 18 song in the intro of my other video the other day, so they probably got me flagged for these copyright violations.
And you played Pink Floyd on your guitar. You can't do that anymore either. You know?
Yeah, you can't. Oh, Jesus.
I was going to tell you not to do a cover because they will kick you off right away. But yeah, it is ridiculous what's happened to YouTube.
Wow.
Now I don't even know. Can you even show the Japan Air UFO, the real documentation from it without getting thrown off now? Because that is a real good UFO case, unlike the one I just showed people don't care for.
All right, so we're back
trying to show
live.
Alaskan UFOs are great.
They just cut the stream. That's crazy, dude.
It's because of what we're talking about. TR-3B is probably what got them going. Notice for some reason Jeremy Corbell will not say triangular UFO. It's pyramid. So maybe if we had put pyramid on there, UFO, we wouldn't get kicked off. Something he knows we don't. They don't want him using triangle because of Ed. Maybe Ed was telling the truth.
It makes me really wonder because I mean that just there just really makes me like, because all the stuff on Ed's like disappeared. It's all gone, dude. It's literally got taken down.
They removed his YouTube channel with him and I on. Then they removed his YouTube channel completely. And I thought his wife did it. And his daughter was like, no way. She wouldn't have any clue how to do that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. They just completely removed it overnight and had 30 videos on it. And I didn't record any of them, Jeremy. You didn't either. Yeah. Sorry if people were blaming me. I'll take the blame, whatever. But all I did was show 2 commercials, basically.
Yeah, we're just telling people to go check out the History Channel. It's
I'm not saying that stuff's 100% true. How do I know? I'm just trying to show people there are UFO cases that are within the United States, but out of the lower 48. Alaska is one of the best places to look where no one looks. Maybe that's what did it. There's so many Air Force bases up there, you wouldn't believe it.
I wonder how bad it's going to get if we're not even going to be able to like cover other people's content or talk, that they're going to use these copyright stuff to censor.
Pyramid, Jeremy.
You can't talk
Apparently,
about.
you can't say
You can't
triangle.
talk about our We can put disinformation out, but if you cover it in a negative light or talk about it and tell people the truth, we're going to flag you and take your shit down.
Lighten up. You don't know they had anything to do with it, but I think you can get grant. I think you can get grant money for doing what you do. You just don't know where to look.
Ow. Come on, man. For YouTube? No way. They're not going to give Jeremy grant money for anything. He's like him.
Maybe for some of the research.
You asked me how long I was in the CA. How about you, Dan?
Brother, if I was in there, you would know because my mouth is too fucking big. I literally would get myself kicked out immediately. I've never been approached like Alex Jones claims him and his dad were, which is ridiculous. I think Alex Jones may have been approached one time. He claims his dad, because he was a dentist, was approached, and I thought that's ridiculous. But then I thought about it. What do dentists do? They do implants. So maybe he was approached to do implants on people, because that's what's. I got to watch what I say here, because medically you can get kicked off now too. I was in a live stream.
You ready for implant story? My dad was partners with
hang on a minute.
Dr.
Hang on.
Oh,
finish it up.
Good.
A guy last week, we got shut down in a live stream last week because a guy that YouTube claimed he was making medical advice without being a doctor in the live stream. We were 2 hours into it, Jeremy, and he was completely shut off. He had to fight YouTube. They didn't know whether he was a doctor or not, but it was just that he was giving medical advice, and certainly he wasn't a medical doctor. But they're getting really crazy about anything you say that has the word or that has medical in it or anything like that. So
for health, let's see what other. Let's go read the flag word list and see how quickly it gets all the censors here.
Make sure you don't say a word that ends in D, or you'll get shut down like that. That's another thing that got him kicked off. Oh, look, there's Dr. Roger Lear over there on the right. He passed away a few years ago.
I'd like to keep this focused on the TR-3B, though. I don't want to get too much off topic with this alien implant stuff. But what are you saying, that they hire dentists so that when they put people under, they can implant them? And
yeah, Alex Jones claims that's why the C group. He claims that's why they. Did you ever hear Alex Jones say that the C group approached his father and tried to get him to go to school in Maryland? He tried to recruit him because his dad did dental implants. You never heard him say that? Find the link. It's ridiculous, but
so, Dan, if I want to know if you had a total beginner that was, say you're on Fox News right now and there's 1 million people watching and you have 3 minutes to summarize everything that people need to know about the TR-3B, what would you tell them?
And I had 3 minutes.
They say 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Just try to summarize it for us as quickly. Just rapid.
What would be known about the TR-3B, or what the speculation is, because we don't really know anything for fact.
We don't know
now,
anything facts, right?
Okay, the TR-3B is supposedly a triangular craft that is a gravity manipulating vehicle. It's not anti-gravity, that uses a magnetic field disruptor to reduce its overall weight by 89 to 90% using a magnetic field disruptor, which is known as a torrid in the center, that's like an inner tube that's pressurized at 150,000 atmospheres. It rotates a mercury-based plasma at 50 to 60,000 RPMs. And what happens is the way this works is supposedly this generates a field that reduces its weight by 90%. So then you put 3 engines, one in each corner of the end of the triangle, and these create lift and maneuver it up and down, sideways, in and out. And there's a way to vector the thrust. And it's just a massive triangular platform. It's a hotel, a hospital, a kitchen, a space vehicle that can be utilized to travel from our solar system to another solar system. And it has everything you need all in one ship. I don't know if it can.
What contractor do we think developed it? I mean,
Teledyne Ryan supposedly built the Teledyne Ryan supposedly created the the magnetic field disruptor, which again, as I say, it's like an inner tube if you think about it, with a field traveling around the inside of it. That's
You don't
super
think
cold.
it was Boeing Phantom Works or the Aurora Project? What's the what?
Or the
Aurora. So we talked about the Aurora Project too, and that was in Buckley Air Force Base, which is in Aurora, Colorado.
It's in Aurora, and they teams like 74 went to test the magnetic.
They're messing up with your mic now, man. They don't want you talking about this stuff.
It's the other guy, not me, bro. Mute him. Mute Frederick.
No, he's not in. They're all muted. It's just me and you.
Okay. Well, okay. When they went to test this magnetic field disruptor, it didn't do anything. They built these buildings and stuff. We're all hiding in these buildings and wait for this thing to lift or explode. They didn't know what was going to happen because they literally had to, I think, use nuclear power to test this thing. They needed that much energy. So when the TR-3B when the magnetic field disruptor did not lift off the ground, they realized they had a problem. So one of the scientists was like, hang on a minute. They started putting 50-pound weights on each corner of it. Then it started to lift because it needed weight. It was like literally going to the ground when they would turn it on. It would literally like push itself to the ground more. You know what I mean? So they had to put weight on it to get this thing to lift in the air, if that makes any sense at all. They had to start putting 50-pound weights in each corner.
And it doesn't make any sense, man. It just sounds.
Well, we don't know what all. We don't understand how the test was done. We weren't there. They had these gigantic chains hooked to it. It sounds like what? The Diclock story, right? They had these gigantic chains supposedly hooked to it. And to get it to create lift, like I said, they had to apply weight to it because what happened is it lost 89 to 90% of its weight. So to generate lift, they had to, like I said, they had to add weight for some reason. I wasn't there at the test, so I don't know why they would have had to do that, but that's what I was told. And you got to understand, without us being there, we don't know what control was used. We don't know anything.
About because didn't Bob Lazar mention something about Aurora too? And I think he had heard.
Well,
something
here's what
from
Bob Lazar said. Bob Lazar said that when him and this is a pretty interesting story. When Bob Lazar said when him and Dennis Mariani, which should have been Bob's boss, he said when him and Dennis were taking the bus down to S4, he said he heard this just incredible noise. This, let's say, roar. He said he heard this noise. It was just absolutely horrendous. And he's in the very back of the bus, and him and Dennis points, to the front windshield, because you got to remember all the windows were painted black. They weren't tinted. They were painted black. You couldn't look out of the bus. He said, look, right there it is. There's the Aurora. And he said he saw these 4 like big box, if you will, thrusters or exhausts. He said, coming out the back of this airplane, and he drew it. And strikingly, his drawing is similar to what Ed called the SR-75. And it sounds to me like he had inside information about the Aurora, because his drawing is accurate to what other Air Force guys have said. He had these 4 thrusters. He didn't see them come on and off, but he heard them come on and off. Then they shut it down. It just happened that Dennis had pointed out one of the 6 times he was there, hey, look, there's the Aurora. That's what you're hearing. And Bob said it shook the ground. Now, who else told a story about loud noises at Area 51, Jeremy?
John Lear?
No. Just recently, they decided to use his story when you and I have been trying to get them to use his story forever. What's the guy's name? Jerry Freeman. Jerry Freeman said he heard loud noises and the ground was vibrating and stuff at Area 51 when he slept at Papoose Lake. Remember when it comes to disinformation, they'll tell you 95% garbage and give you 5% or truth. What if Bob Lazar's entire story about the UFOs and all that's bullshit, and the Aurora part of the story that he told that no one even already knows about is the truth? Yeah, pull up the Bob Lazar Aurora drawing. I have it right here, man. I have it. You're probably never going to find it. The second you type his name in, the UFOs are going to show up. Ed calls it the SR-75. Some people call it the penetrator. I'm not joking about that. Hold on a minute, Jeremy. I'm trying to
know
find
if I've
it.
ever seen his drawing of it, but
Boy, all that pops up is the damn UFO. Hang on, I will find it. I have it. I know where to find it at. Hold on a minute.
so this is the actual Aurora project. It's a faster than Mach 10 scramjet engine, and it has these.
Corey, do you understand what I'm saying? The Aurora is true, and the rest of it's crap. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, think about it, you know. Hang on, I'm
Certainly not something Jeremy covered in his documentary.
you got to remember something, you know. Jeremy Corbell hasn't. He thinks he's been around for a long time when it comes to UFOs. You and I have been around a little while. Fred's been around hell since the '80s. You know, is what he's saying.
Right.
You know, you and I have been around for longer than a lot of people. That's why you and I get so pissed about stuff, because, well, you know, there's a lot of younger people at this, and they've got a long way to go before they realize some of the shit that's going on.
Yeah, and how the information gets disappeared and then it gets recycled, but with key parts missing.
And what I was gonna say, what happens? It changes. It changes all the time. And I hate to tell people out there, Bob Lazar's story has changed. You know, I can show you a video where he claims that the reactor was ripped out of the sport, or one of the gravity emitters, one of the gravity amplifiers was completely ripped out of the sport model. He says it right on the video. Now, that's the thing that they test flew around. That was, you know, the craft he worked on, the sport model. He claims that him and Dennis used the gravity amplifier, the emitter, and everything in the test bench. And remember, Jeremy, I've got the video right here, which kind of really thrashes him, where he claims that once the emitter is turned on and once the gravity amplifier is turned on and once the reactor is on, that you can't touch the dome, the half sphere. Remember, he tries to touch it with his hands. So my question to Bob in an email was, how do you turn it off? Remember, it's on the bench. How did, if he's shown him this before and shown other people, meaning his lab partner Barry Castillo, how did Barry turn off the reactor? Because you could never touch it. Your hands could never get within 2 feet of this, Bob said. It's impossible.
Yeah, the field put off. It had like a force field around it. You wouldn't be able to.
Well, remember what he told me? He said, Bob Lazar told me that he had to crawl. He said he remembered he had to crawl down in the bottom portion of the craft, which he never said before. He had to crawl down there. And then he said he reached down in and he had to grab one of the gravity amplifiers and turn them 80 degrees. Now, this was when the craft was running. So then I said, well, that's supposedly impossible because
right. He never
yeah.
mentioned that detail before, but then what was that on Larry King, or was that Joe Rogan that he mentioned that detail about turning that thing 180 degrees? He had to add a shutoff switch because it wasn't in his original story.
Well, there's no shutoff switch because remember, Jeremy,
he said there was no way to turn it on or off.
Yeah,
I remember.
There's no wires or anything, just the half sphere. And there's something else he totally leaves out of that. There's a portion of that half sphere that goes up into the top of the craft. It ends up looking like an antenna. Remember, I have a picture of it right here, actually. Check this out.
Throw it in the private
image
chat.
address. Check this out, man. There's, you know, a lot of people don't realize there's stuff that's changed. A great deal of stuff. I know what all's changed, but yeah, there's a video I have of him where he says they ripped the gravity amplifier out, and it's on Jeremy Corbell's page during one of the interviews. I'll send it to you in private. Remember when I showed that to you? You were like, "Oh my gosh, you know, he'll definitely flag you." There, I just sent you the link about that. You can see the top portion, which would be the the waveguide or whatever it is that goes, the sphere goes under it. Okay. See, he'll never talk about that portion that goes onto the top of the reactor. There's a movie for the reactor. I see. Hold on a minute.
I think that you know, there were parts of this that had true information in it, like this Aurora project, and the
maybe
SR-75 and stuff, and it was in both it was in both Ed's and Bob's story. But
yeah,
I think that TR-3B thing, I don't know. There's just not. We tracked this thing down for over a decade, man. I swear, I just feel like it was disinformation that was put out.
I got two guys that claim it's real. They're Ed's age, you know.
I would love to.
They knew Ed through it, and the one guy I was told was dead, and he's alive.
We could get them to jump on the show and be like, "Look,
oh,
guys,
no way,
no."
The one guy basically was like, "If you ever tell anybody I'm around," it was really bizarre conversation I had with him. I had to meet him in person.
Wow.
And I was actually scared. Remember I told you about that, and I told you I was scared. I don't know if it's with me or what, and it kind of. Honest to God, I have some kind of, I think, PTSD from this whole thing. I wake up sweating, and it's done something to me, this whole story. I don't like it.
That's it. Keep investigating UFOs for another decade, people, and this is what it will do to you. So.
You'll get PTSD. Oh, Jeremy, look, here is the the energy. Oh, damn it, I don't want to download this. Jeremy, here is the energized version. You'll see this. Look over to the left here.
It's like
the link.
They got us chasing flying triangles, space triangles again, and you know.
Look at the Bob Lazar link I just sent you, and you'll see the waveguide or whatever that is that goes up into the upper portion of the craft. Because remember, Bob said he was never allowed up in there, which I thought was weird. I know compartmentalization, but if you're figuring out the propulsion system and that piece goes up in the upper deck of the craft. Check that out. And
which one? Which one is it?
I just sent you the link.
Reactor.
The bottom link. It says disc interior energized MPG. Well, you'll see over to the left down there to the bottom. You'll see that it looks like a pipe that goes straight up into the upper part of the craft.
I don't see disc interior energized. I see disc interior.
Well, hold on.
Oh, energized, glowing. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, see one glowing. See how that pipe or whatever it is goes. You have the half sphere, then you have that. Yeah, I was just saying, maybe you can play it.
It says it's not playable.
Go to the one above it. The one above it's just not colored. See it?
Weird. Is it MPEG?
Right. No, the one right above it, bro. There, disc interior. See if that one. I did want to see it energized, but
these are weird files. I don't know. They won't play.
It's because Bob deleted the site and someone else picked it up. Someone was smart enough to save this. I think I know who has it, but I'm not going to ask.
What is this? The Theoretical Physics Archive? What is this? What George Knapp and Bob Lazar put out as their physics?
This is Bob Lazar's original site, and when we started using the archives to delete Bob or to debunk Bob's entire story, because we noticed so many discrepancies, we were shocked. Like, look, he has alien writing there. We were so shocked. We started using his archives and calendars dates and noticed all these discrepancies. He yanked the site down right away and tried to delete it, and someone else picked it up. That's why the Skynet is in front of boblazar.com. Originally, it was boblazar.com. Now boblazar.com is back up. If you go to it, you'll see it's completely different than this. I don't know if you've ever looked at it or not. It's totally different than what you're looking at now. It's completely been changed. Why?
The makers of the craft and providers of the fuel were from the Zeta Reticuli star system. Yeah, this is all.
There's totally different now. If you go to archives, click on archives once. And go to calendars, right?
Oh, God.
And he has on here all kinds of stuff. Like we have the okay, when he started working when Bob started working for Los Alamos, no, he claimed that when he was on the Billy Goodman show that he started out as a technician because he had not had a physics degree yet. But he claims that when he left Los Alamos, somehow he had gotten his physics degree from MIT while working at Los Alamos. And that's the same kind of story like Richard Feynman, was it? Kind of had. It's like he copied him. But he was only at Los Alamos for, I think, the better part of 11 months or something like that. He wasn't there a full year. But Bob claims he had gotten his physics degree from MIT while he was at Caltech. While he was at Los Alamos, which would have been impossible because you can't go to Boston every day if you're in New Mexico. So they would have had to have taught him at Los Alamos, which wasn't happening. If he was such a talent, they would have sent him to school and paid for it, right? They wouldn't have had him working part-time in the lab and going to school if they were going to pay for his schooling, which is what I think he tried to make people believe. But that whole story, you don't hear anything about that anymore. In the movie, he said, do you think they would just hire somebody?
It's a waste of time to even talk about the story unless we're going to get Corbell on. And I challenged him to a debate on that podcast.
Did you?
Today.
What did he say?
On the one today, I wanted to still speak at the one on Saturday yesterday, but the one that they did today, I basically put it out there. I wanted to make it clear because he was portraying it like that we didn't have beef anymore and it was all squashed and cool. And it's like,
oh, I didn't know he said that.
I forget how he was trying to what exactly he said, but he said that he's really kissing Corbell's butt today, man. It was kind of,
I know, it's like the guy changed his entire. Okay,
we spent all that time talking to him and sharing information with him about the Bob Lazar story, and he did a whole bunch of videos about it. And after talking to you, and I think I'm pretty sure he's taking him down.
Maybe he used me. It pissed me off kind of. I'm going to message him here in a couple hours and say, hey man, when you asked me all those fucking questions and I wasted all that time talking to you, and excuse my language, everybody. When I wasted
he's new to UFOs and trying to get in the game, and I really like what he started with that whole big phone home idea and this whole idea. But then I felt like as soon as he got all these big names in there like Lou, and then he got Jeremy Corbell
on. He didn't care about the truth then, because he did 5 videos saying he didn't believe Bob Lazar. He did like 4 or 5. Videos, right?
He got starstruck. Well, I think he realized it's like, oh, if you want to make it big and get a huge channel and make money in this and like do something in this, then you have to kiss ass to like the.
Well, what did he say in his videos the other day? He said he's 40 years old and his acting career didn't go so well. And his dad's like, you got to do something. So what's he do? He started a YouTube channel about UFOs, not knowing anything about UFOs, and then got his dad to finance stuff because his dad's got money. And it was very bizarre what he said the other day, which made me think, yeah, he needs money. Who doesn't need money? But he lives in Beverly Hills, though. I mean, you got to have money to live there. I don't care how fucking poor you are. The cheapest part of Beverly Hills has got to be expensive. So it's just a weird situation. He's an actor, comedian, failed pro wrestler. It's just a weird story. He's like another Jeremy Corbell, man. Jeremy Corbell came out of L.A., basically.
Here's all the videos that he did on Bob Lazar like a year ago, and is Bob Lazar lying? He's full of crap, and this is what he. And then today on the show he says, I got angry. People started sharing information with me. I got angry and I jumped on the camera, and he's like, I regret that.
When can you find that part where he says that?
Yeah, I heard him say it today, man. He basically recanted all this Bob Lazar stuff that he went and did, like this, because it didn't get a lot of views. It didn't get like good, it didn't get good views.
Glad I didn't. He wanted to interview me real bad, and I said no, because remember I said something to you. I said, hey, this guy wants to interview me, and you and I were involved in something where we just didn't think it was a good idea, and I said, okay, I'm not going to do it. And he asked me again. I said, no.
Does he have the video up? I don't know if so this was from yesterday, but he doesn't have the stream from today, earlier today up. I don't see it.
He's got to have today up, bro. Go to his home once. Let's see if
No, it should be on the videos. Like it should be just on videos. Let's just go all videos.
I was gonna say you should have a playlist of the phone home thing, which should
I don't see it, man. It was today. I saw it on the stream today, and he basically like was saying
today
he was kissing Corbell's butt, and you know, he's
Hold
got
on a minute.
starstruck. I feel like
I found it. I think I got it.
I kept telling him, like, yo, I smell psyop when I see Corbell and Joe Rogan and all these coordinated efforts to put this like pyramid stuff out and this Bob Lazar stuff out, and I look at what it's done to the credibility of this field in the major like intellectual and scientific and academic community. And
what's the name of his channel, Jeremy? The what?
People are like, oh no, we're all on the same team and we're all working, you know, to bring this field forward. I'm like, these people brought this field back 10 years.
The way they talked about Mick West was
I was like, dude, no.
Yeah.
These people brought the whole field back 10 years, man.
Yeah,
like,
they did. They did. Jeremy, what's the name of his channel?
Not pushing the field forward, and I'm not gonna like sit there and, you know, I'll do a truce for one day to go in, to get in and to talk to these people, to get, you know, to try to talk some sense into them. But man, that was bad, dude. They had all these people backslapping each other and
wow.
And, you know, and talking about and some of the worst, you know, biggest hoaxers in ufology and going on there as like experts and saying that we don't need debunking, and they talk crap about Mick West and he allowed it for like, man, it was just, I don't know, some of it was good, man, but like, and I like the idea of getting, you know, everyone's voice on there and getting their opinion, but I want to hear people, I want to hear more people's, we should do a whole thing tomorrow or something tomorrow morning, like another stream about just the phone home initiative and prep people, because people need to be calling up their, you know, senators and stuff. But man, if they're calling up and telling them like investigate Bob Lazar, and you know,
it's not gonna do anything. Yeah,
it's not gonna do anything but make us look stupid and just distract from the message. Like we need
exactly. It was like a big publicity stunt with all those people there. I was really surprised that he kicked Jimmy Church and no offense to the people that he brought on, but he kicked Jimmy Church off and he kicked Richard Dolan off.
Yeah. But he had those other guys on, and he kicked. I would have kept Richard Dolan and Jimmy Church on as long as I could. If they came on my show, man, I would have given those guys like the front and center. And Jimmy Church said that he was sitting in the background. Well, you know, he let that guy Strafe go on for
Jimmy Church, I think, is kind of pissed off about that little Strafe guy got smart with me a couple of times, and all I did was ask him what his UFO or what his background was, what got him into UFOs or something like that. And he said, I'm going to tell you something. He's a little French guy. He said the last public picture of me is with the president of France. And I'm just like, okay, who fucking cares? All I did was ask you what's your UFO background, what got you into UFOs, because he looked older than everybody else. That's what he said to me. I was like,
that was on the first one. That was on the first stream, right? Yeah.
That was today.
That was today?
He was in the chat and he was trying to act like a boss, and I just was like, I wonder what this guy's what's up with him. And I just asked him a simple question: what's your background when it comes to UFOs? What got you into them? And because he really trashed Mick West yesterday, remember? Or Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. We gotta remember it's Monday. Saturday, he was really ignorant, and other people were about Mick West, and it just I don't know, man. It was really weird.
Nobody seemed to really know what the debunking was that Mick West did was, but and then this Brandon Fugel came on there. I was amazed at and then right after Brandon came on, this guy David Foley comes on, and it's Jeremy Corbell.
That's Jeremy's buddy, yeah. It's Jeremy's like best friend, right? They are on every interview together. You know, remember they did that one show together when you and I saw it and were in the chat. We didn't know they were even coming on or something. And here, if you're going to be serious about UFOs, I don't think you bring a comedian in, but you know, that's just my opinion.
Okay, so he has Jeremy Riss on there, but look at my timestamp is very small on here to get my name on there. I don't know, just weird. It's just weird. Like I think so, a couple people have contacted me after I went on there, and they're like, something's fishy. Like, how did he get you mixed up with Carl Anderson? And now your name's not on the list, and that's the excuse.
I know. Remember
like,
that he said that. He said, I keep getting you mixed up with Carl Anderson. He had interviewed you 3 days before that. It was an insult. By the way, I got the link, man. You want it from his show today?
Yeah, it was 3 days ago. Like, so
I'll go over private this for some reason.
I'll go over this because, like, it was
I got
what would you like to see at the big phone home? It was at this one, and this was when they were setting up the list and the timestamps, and that's when I was on there. And then the day after I went on and did his show. And it just shows you like the reach and the impact that we're having. Because look, this is his most watched show recently until he did these 2 big streams where he got all those big names on. As like, you know, so
check your messenger, Jeremy. I sent you the link.
There were a ton of people in that live chat calling for me to get on. And then when Corbell got on, everyone's like, is Alien Scientist going to get on with Corbell? And like, I'm totally willing to be on there with Corbell. It's like that he's the scared one running away and you know, pretending that I don't exist. And
yeah, behind the scenes, he had said that they better not get you two both on the same screen, or he would bail out, or he had to have
he'd run away with his tail between his legs is what he'd do.
As before he came on, but if you check your messenger, Jeremy, I sent you a link to the show today, which I luckily got because I think he's got it private or something. It's real weird.
Yeah, David Foley from Kids in the Hall.
Do you see the link?
Is it in the private chat?
No, I just sent it to your messenger because I got it on my phone.
I don't have I'm not logged into Facebook on this computer.
Well, that's the only way I can get it to you. Or check your phone. Do you want me to send it to can I send it to your phone through a text message?
What is this you're trying to send to me?
I'm sending you his show from today. I got it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Send it to me on there if you want. I don't need to go over it, and it would take too long to dig through it and find the timestamp and everything.
It's on your messenger. So if you I send it, I can text it to you also. But it's not, you know, I'll have to watch it. It was only like 2 hours, or no, it was 3 hours, or wait a minute, 1 hour and 30 minutes. He didn't have many people watching him today. I think it hurt his ego. He had a lot of people on yesterday. He had some good people on. He kicked the wrong people off, which was bizarre. You don't kick Jimmy Church and Richard Dolan off at the same time. But I know why they did, because Jimmy Church even was saying that those the Green Pyramids were a joke on his show. I don't know if you know that.
This is funny, dude. These guys are a joke, man. This video is getting so many views, and none of these physicists will come on and like my show and debate me or try to educate me on any of this stuff. It's like, it's pathetic, man. And they keep deleting my comments, bro.
Who are these physicists? What are you talking about? They were on his show?
No, yeah, these physics people that watch this Fermilabs video.
Oh, that guy. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that stuff. They're probably not physicists, you know.
It's just crazy, man, how ignorant the community is to, you know, these people want to believe Corbell because he's popular and he's put out there in the news. And I swear it's a psyop, it's disinformation, it's put out there on purpose to discredit all of us. But these people just want to eat it up and have no skepticism and throw out all the debunkers. And they insulted Mick West so bad in the half that he didn't even want to come on.
Yeah, that little strafe guy was like, like putting his hands down and saying, and then they were saying there was a guy on there, a black guy that was really ignorant about. Yeah, they are. No, that's not the part where they're laughing about Mick West, is it?
Right.
The part where they're
Vinny,
that book is on there, and what they say is a total lie about Mick West.
yeah, I'd like to talk to, I don't know, how's this guy Vinny didn't seem like he was that bad, and I'd really like to talk to this guy Tyler. It seemed like they kept shutting him up, and he had military background, and he was trying to
they didn't want to hear it. Right.
I wanted to hear more of his perspectives, and I definitely want to get him on the show to talk more about stuff. So he was certainly interesting. Man,
Once
this is good.
They didn't want to hear from him. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. There was some certain things that people have brought up to me over the past, all this morning. I had a bunch of calls, people talking to me about this. He's like, "What is going on? Who's this new guy, Lewis? Like, and how did he get all these people like on, how did he get Lou Elizondo and Jeremy Corbell and then Jimmy Church and Richard Dolan? I guess they found out about it and they wanted to take part because it's like this." But I love the idea. I just think that, we need to hold something like this with our own people and have our own discussions, because I think there's too many.
I found when they're talking bad about it's 5 guys talking crap about Mick West, and I'll tell you something, Mick West completely can eat those guys up when it comes to that pyramid video, and I don't care what they say.
I almost want to invite Mick West on, but I just disagree with him about so much other stuff, because like Mick West is the guy that he thinks everything's bunk, all this stuff's flat earth, and we need to just believe whatever the government tells us is the official story, and that's that. And I'm of this opinion that no, we're being lied to, like on all levels, and it's more coordinated than Mick West even imagines, and that the finding the truth in all this is not as easy as any of these people claim. Legally, these people say it's all aliens, and it's they're here, and we need just to have disclosure, and that's all it's going to be. And then they have the people on the other side that say, oh no, all these people are crazy, and it's just nonsense, because look at what they believe in with, and they use Bob Lazar as the example, like Fermi Labs did, and to say, oh, none of these people understand physics or know anything about science. And meanwhile, I'm like trying to open up those conversations to more and more, to try to debunk all this disinformation. Yeah, this is stuff that got me into this, and I researched it, for 16 years, a long time ago. But we're moving beyond that with the APEC conference. I think that this is really there's been a lot of failed paths that people have tried all through ufology and using their imagination about this stuff. But I think that we're illuminating the path forward through this idea of propulsion engineering and physics, and new paths in physics, and trying to open physics up to new data and new experiments that they've been ignoring or shunning or pretending don't exist, kind of like so that's kind of I that's where I stand on that. It's my standpoint on UFOs in general. And but again, this community is it's been compromised, and I feel like there's a lot of players in here that I don't necessarily I feel like that people need to be more skeptical of everything that's going on, and all, especially narratives, because it's a war on narratives, and and the narrative that they're trying to push is that it's all aliens and this is disclosure. But there's a bigger game here, because if they admit to aliens, and they admit to a cover up of aliens, and say Roswell or something, man, you realize that all cards are on the table at that point. It's like, all right, well, now what about JFK? What about 9/11? What about all these other conspiracies that people are going to start saying, well, they lied about Roswell and covered that up. So now, like, said almost like this all has to go for the intelligence perspective. If this is all going to go according to plan, if I was a billionaire in charge of this whole, if say I'm head of MJ12, we have to think like our enemy in order to defeat our enemy. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're the head of MJ12 and this report's got to come out, are you going to, what you're going to do is you're going to hype up a whole bunch of bullshit. Then you're going to debunk it all. and then you're gonna make it look like you're gonna put this all back on its shelf of this is nonsense and nobody needs to look into this. And we gave it a serious chance, but this is the last chance that we need to give it, and it's a result of these other. They'll probably bring in psychologists to explain how we all need to go to therapy and we're all delusional. And
they absolutely say it's aliens first, and the last thing they want to hear is that it's an experimental aircraft from the United States. Did you notice that?
Or technology, and they don't want anyone to talk about the technology, man. And I felt,
which bothered me.
I felt really weird when I came on because they didn't really give me a chance to get into so much of that stuff, but I did have my slides prepared. I think I caught them off guard a little bit. Man, I had like this new setup with all my slides.
That was cool. Yeah, on your TV screen. He was
so
worried about that. Remember, he kept looking to the left at his other screen. He didn't do that for anybody else but you.
I don't know. It's just I don't know what to feel about it, but I like to think that all these guys, we're all on the same page. But I'm not trying to be an enemy. I'm trying to like bring this field to new levels and show that that people like Corbell and what they've done, they're not our friends. You invite him on, and he's like probably got the most views of any guest that you had. So yeah, it's good to get him on. But man, we got to push this dude to have a debate, because he runs from debates, and he's blocked me and he's blocked Dan, and he's really a coward, and he needs to be exposed, and he needs to be this debate needs to happen, bro, because he does not know UFOs. He's a poser in this community, and he's spreading disinformation and doing it for popularity. And that was obvious in his backtracking about when he was asked we did get some questions through to him on the stream about those I wish Mick West could have come on to address him and like really, but again, Jeremy Corbell,
weird. He
probably said, I guarantee he set it up with Lewis. He's like, listen, you want me to come on? You can't have any debunkers on with me, or any, that's
didn't
how he sets
didn't
all
he
this
have
stuff
didn't he
up.
make you didn't he make Lewis have an agreement with you too about something? Or
I wouldn't
not allowed to say what that was
about,
about, or what was that about? That was about,
he just said
what?
he's trying to set up, he said he's trying to set up a debate between me and Corbell, and he wants to like come together on some common ground and stuff. And I think that we should. I would love to talk to Corbell about common ground.
Man, I really don't think it's going to happen, because it's been going on 4 years you guys have been fighting, and why would he do it for this Luis guy? I don't see that ever taking place, man. I don't.
There was a part in that where Jeremy said, Corbell says, he's like, I like to have everything prepared, before I come on the show, and everything needs to be,
He said that a number of times. Yeah.
He said it. He kept saying it, right?
Yeah, he said that a number of times. It's really, the whole thing was bizarre, man. I don't know. It got weird. It got like almost, if you weren't down with what they all were into, you were an outsider. That's how I felt.
Yeah, it was bandwagon. It was kind of bandwagony, and
it was really weird. It's kind of like almost like they all knew what they were going to say, and you didn't know what was going on. It was weird, man. It was very bizarre. I felt uncomfortable watching it the second half, but I stuck with it because you were on. If I'd have known you weren't coming on until almost 11 o'clock, I'd have went and done something for 3 hours.
It was crazy because right the 4 minutes before I came on, he went on this, like, he had a lot of dead time. Like he could have brought me right on.
Before you came on. It was 7 minutes.
And I was ready. I was there the whole time. I was in the live chat throughout the whole thing, and lots of people were calling for me to get on, but he never even sent me the link, and I didn't even have it. And he's saying, oh, it was kind of weird, man. I was just like, maybe, and then I didn't come on until like 11, but whatever. I still like the idea of what this guy set up, this whole big phone home. But I think we need to engage with this more, and show people more skepticism, and it's just kind of crazy. So another thing that was mentioned too is that Brandon Fugel was on here, and I had a couple tweets going back and forth about some of the Skinwalker Ranch stuff, And someone suggested, he's like, oh, well, Travis Taylor went out there with all these, equipment and stuff, and did all, they had scientists looking into this. And someone suggested that, they would love to see me and Jeremiah go out there and do like, some science investigation on the whole Skinwalker Ranch thing. Right? Are you guys still there, by the way?
Yeah, I'm here. I just muted myself just so
cool.
so you don't hear any noises or anything.
No,
yeah.
that's cool.
So
I appreciate
so then what
that.
happened?
So
then what?
So on Twitter, I don't know, because I made the comment that they went out in the episode that I saw with Travis Taylor. If I can look this up, Travis Taylor, Skinwalker Ranch.
He's not the doctor that's there, is he? Or the scientist, the blonde.
He's a scientist. Yeah, Travis
Yeah,
S. Taylor.
he's actually got like a southern accent. He's pretty cool, actually.
So they went out there, but they had a
that
scalar.
guy.
They had a scalar magnetometer, so it would just like detect RF, but it wasn't a directional antenna. Like we could, if we got some funding and get some equipment, man, we could go out there and triangulate the position and find the sources for what's emitting that radiation, because they had just had one single scalar, thing on the show, but they, this technology, there's science and technologies that can be applied to very easily triangulate and figure out, is there a local house nearby that's blasting this place with, radiation and stuff?
A guy explained a lot of it. Apparently, the Nevada test site, when they did all their tests in 57, 58 above ground, the wind blows directly onto that property. They're not that far from Area 51. Utah, it blew directly upon there. They actually showed the wind map. And
that's plausible. That's a plausible explanation, but
imagine if a cloud of radioactive dust just rained down on there for a day or two. I mean, it's possible, I
was
don't
talking
know.
to Erica Lukes, and she did a bunch of research on this. I got to get her on the show. She works with Cal Korf and them, but
I mean, what do you think of this Skinwalker Ranch? I think it's really bizarre. I mean, if
I think, right, there's
true,
local legend that goes back to the Native Americans, right? So they have, the Air Force is really interested in like local folklore, because it's like organic misinformation or organic mythology rather. So, when you're in the business of creating mythologies, right, and dealing with perception management and mythology is a one useful tool for perception management, because it's how the ancients perceived the world. So it works on, normal humans for how they perceive the world and understand the world around them. So this was a lot of the research goes back to MK Ultra and Subproject 68 and the radio telemetry laboratory, for the CIA's mind control program. And a lot of the experiments that were done at Camp Hero for the Montauk Project in the U.S. Army Psychological Warfare Operations Center, where they experimented with, like I mentioned, Project Rainbow, which was the mapping of the electromagnetic frequency spectrum and all the different electromagnetic frequencies and what effects they would have on different types of matter. But there was a specific study for the effects on brain waves and on human psychology and on biological systems with the interference of these RF and technologies. So it's quite possible that, a place like Skinwalker Ranch was chosen, for once the testing, because this place got found out about and then it got shut down, once the public started learning what was going on there and what kind of the experiments were going on there, it got shut down. So obviously, the next logical step, if you got a project like this and it gets shut down, it's like you want to continue this and you want to experiment on people, but you want to do it kind of covertly, Say you want to, still test these kind of things on people, these ability to do auditory and visual hallucinations. And you wanted to test these technologies on human subjects, but, do it discreetly. You'd pick a place like Skinwalker Ranch where there's already local legends that can, so that, these sorts of tests can be explained later as experience or phenomenon. And, oh, well, you just experienced, the phenomena, when really it's just, CIA mind control tests and experiments on human victims and subjects that they might be covering up. And that's what I'd like that's a more plausible hypothesis for what I think was going on at Skinwalker Ranch than it's freaking Bigfoot aliens jumping out of portals and the crazy shit that was in Jeremy Corbell's documentary. Yeah, and Bigfoot dogs. Right. It just makes more sense to me that this is, experiments with, our psychological warfare and mind control, and they used the Skinwalker Ranch as a place to test these things once Montauk and Camp Hero were closed, and because the local legends could be, used as a effective cover story for these types of experimentations, and that's what I believe is going on there, and I believe it's still going on there to this day, and
yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
It's a really weird place. It's a really weird vibe. I don't know nothing about these places. I mean, I've seen the TV stuff about it. I thought the TV show, you can say that you could find the origin of the radiation, all that, but let's face it, that would reduce the amount of episodes. Did you notice they've got a whole new season that just started a couple of nights ago or last week?
They're going to milk this. They're going to milk this.
Yeah, it's going to be the next island. The Curse of Oak Island's on what? I don't know, season 10 or something. It's all about getting more seasons out of it, more money. It'll generate big bucks.
I think that's Brandon Fugel's main interest in it. That's at least seems to me like. I mean, I haven't talked to him. I don't really know him.
I mean, he's got a private jet and stuff, man. I mean, how much money? I mean, he's got big money. I don't think he needs the money. He's like some kind of billionaire property owner, I think.
But why is he so interested in, this paranormal aspect of it and it being, aliens and stuff? Why?
Man, I don't know. Have they shown any UFOs on the new show? Or, I mean, on the one from last year? I watched a few episodes.
They got to get better. They got to get better RF sensing equipment and set up triangulation. They could source that. They could track down the source of these things, much better with better equipment out there. Of course, they'll just, if it's, I don't know, it makes me wonder. There's Brandon Fugel and Travis S. Taylor right there. And he's a physicist.
He's a doctor. He's smart. He's a smart guy. He's got that southern drawl, so you don't think he's some kind of doctor. And he turns out to be highly sought after. Guess what? There was a lot of controversy.
We got to get him on the show.
Hey, want to know something? There's a lot of controversy with him. Type his name in, and Bob Lazar once. He does not believe Bob Lazar at all, and I think that's why Corbell's not on this show. I don't think him and Corbell.
That's funny.
Didn't you know that?
Of course not. Corbell won't talk to anybody.
This guy's a real physicist and said Bob Lazar's story's bunk. It's ridiculous, is what he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I know who that guy is. And then I was shocked when I saw him on that TV show. I'm like, hold on a minute. That's the guy I saw 2 months ago trashing Lazar, because you can't find too many physicists that'll say anything because they just don't want to stoop to that level. They don't want the argument. Well, he got into it. He said it's a bunch of crap. And then here he's on Skinwalker Ranch.
Wow. So he went to college. He got his MS in Huntsville and his PhD in aerospace systems engineering in Huntsville. So he was, so he comes from NASA stuff. He's got a bachelor's in electrical engineering. Yeah, he's an interesting dude. I would love to get him on the show and talk to him. I wonder. It makes me wonder if he's under any contracts by these television shows that he can't get on other, podcasts and talk too much about this kind of stuff. But I'd really like to just discuss scientific methodology, and that's stuff's generally too boring for television and not fit for television audiences. So that would be I don't know. Maybe we'll reach out to him and see.
Well, being that he's on a TV show, he's not going to be able to do anything unless the TV show approves it. You know how that goes. It's got. You talk to him, it's probably only got to be about, and that's it.
That's why I never want to be on like one of these TV shows and
find out what the net worth is of that Flugel guy, man. He's got to have a lot of money. He's the one that puts Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp on private jets and flies them all over the place. I'm pretty sure he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is he so infatuated with those fraudsters?
Dude, I don't know the connection there. Again, there's money all around these people. You've got billionaire Bob Bigelow. Now you got this guy. This guy here, I'm pretty sure is a billionaire. He's got to be. He owns tons of real estate. He's got a huge company. He's got money, man. He's got helicopters. Well, that's another thing. He doesn't ever drive out there. They fly nice helicopters in and out there.
It's a big real estate company, so he just owns land and manages land contracts and stuff. So that's big
To have
money.
your own private jets, though, what kind of money are we talking here, man? I mean, he's got bucks, dude. And they're all connected. Money is connected to all of this stuff. Private contracting, who knows? He's probably got money in one of these contractors. You know, one of these government contracting may have got him into it. I don't know. He's got to be an investor in stocks and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got money. You know.
Yeah,
because a few years ago when there was when the new owner took over of Skinwalker Ranch, which was him, they wouldn't show him. He was blacked out. His face was blacked out. People were trying to figure out who it was, and it was on ATS and stuff. No one knew who the guy was, but they knew who the person's private jet was, and that's how they figured out it was him, because they found out somebody recognized her, like, I know whose private jet that is. And that's how they found out he bought Skinwalker Ranch. It was private for several years. And
it was out. What was it? Doxed on Above Top Secret?
Yeah, ATS doxed it. There's a guy named Springer on there who I think took over ATS at this point. And ATS and all that stuff's not like it was because Reddit's kind of taken over. So this guy Springer, people were thinking it was him. And this guy Springer didn't have money for private jets and stuff, but he's got some money. Well, they figured out it was Flugel because of the
I don't trust these shows either, man. This guy's got a good point. Quagmire here in the chat, he says, like, they'll be filming them and they'll be like, oh my god, my magnetometer just fried out from the fields, and it's like, but the camera's still working fine, filming him like banging on the thing, like it's not working.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll do some refilming. Let's say something happened and they didn't get it on camera. They'll hoax it and stuff. But also, a lot of it's fake, too. Yeah, a lot of it is. Like that TV show I showed earlier. I certainly didn't know whether or not that UFO in that video was true or whatever, this or that. I was just trying to make the point that, hey, there's a UFO issue going on in Alaska and no one talks about it. That's all. And this TV show, the whole thing can be scripted. We don't know. We don't know what's real and what isn't. You know,
you never know with mainstream TV.
Yeah.
Man.
Nowadays, they can just CGI anything, and the technology's gotten so good at this point that, you know, they could CGI a UFO in one of them TV shows and make any of us believe it's real.
I know, and you know, with all the technology they have out there, you'd think they'd have put out a better video than that stupid pyramid.
That's why it's fake. I mean, and when I say fake, it's not fake. It's just that they're airplanes. They're airplanes, man. I mean,
this has taken the field back like years, man. We're beyond this.
And the fact that Corbell just will not admit that it's bullshit is ridiculous. If you're listening to this, Jeremy Corbell, we all know it's crap. Admit that you fucked up. Move on to your next thing, your Omaha video, and go from there. The more you hold on to this lie, you and George Knapp, the worse it makes you guys look. Because that last thing where Mick West matched the sky up and Jupiter and that other star turned into pyramids, it was over at that point, you know. And then it's you've got navigation lights pulsing in the on the freaking thing, and it's just ridiculous at this point. It's they're airplanes, man, and it's an apparition on the camera, whatever you call it. I could care less what it's called. It's an apparition. Yeah.
It doesn't turn into a square, so why is he calling it a pyramid? It's a triangle, man. The pyramids have a square bottom. It never once.
Yeah, pyramid's a three-dimensional object like in Egypt, right? Am I wrong or not?
Exactly right. It's a square base with four triangular sides.
Right. Why is he saying that? Why? Oh, he said that the last night I'm sorry. Saturday night, he kept saying that the Navy called it that, and that is why he called it that. He said
That's
that
right. The
he's
Navy said that. Well, why
yeah,
did the Navy say this then? So obviously this comes from military intelligence, right? So why did
yeah.
military intelligence make sure he called, call it this pyramid, and
He
why
said they were
didn't?
massive. He said they were like 700 feet long.
But why, still, if they just called it that, I was commenting on it, I would at least said triangle once. He doesn't use the word triangle once in his like news reports
Yeah.
and these interviews that he gave. It's pyramid, 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 pyramid.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's so weird.
It's
And you know what?
so
Hey,
weird, man.
go to those 3 pictures once there that they just showed. Yeah, those there.
Oh, the balloon, the
Yeah,
Batman
there's
balloon.
the one on the left. People are saying that that's a shark. That like one of these helium balloons.
Yeah,
That
eye party
it's a
shark balloon.
Yeah, it's literally a shark balloon. And I want to tell you something. The person that pointed that out, it sure does look like the shark balloon they showed. The one over to the right, that's that Batman balloon. The thing in the middle.
How
I
is
don't know what that is.
I don't understand how Mystery Wire is getting all these likes, dude.
That's George's channel.
Oh, this is a lot of. It
That's
looks like they have a.
channel. That's George Knapp's channel.
It's just weird. All the.
He pays advertising, and I'm sure he's looking to retire off his right. I think what I think what they're going to try and do with Mystery Wire is eventually turn it into like a coast to coast AM thing, whether it be George Knapp's brand. That's what I think they're trying to pull off.
It's weird, man.
Did you ever see how he does like half hour, an hour videos and stuff? Remember, he had the guy on that filmed Area 51 and then took it down.
All right, thank you. For those of you who just tuned in, we're doing a live chat, so you can join the StreamYard link right here. If you jump on here and tell us your thoughts. Do you think this is psyops? What do you think is going on with this?
Yeah, if other people want to come in and talk, that would be incredible.
I want to hear other people's perspectives. I'd like to find some people who are Jeremy Corbell fans that want to tell me why they trust Jeremy and believe him and really like, especially after the Bob Lazar, and we've covered that story and really dug into it. Did you see the recent one I posted on? Let me see. I think I posted the link on Twitter.
I don't even think much about the Bob Lazar story anymore. I really don't. I don't. It doesn't affect me anymore like it used to. Now, remember, I'm not on Twitter, and people think that's crazy. I'm just not a Twitter guy. That's all.
This guy.
Oh yeah, that doctor. Yeah, he explains that Bob Lazar is just a good liar, and yeah, I liked what he had to say. I thought he was spot on.
He got a lot of negative reviews. I mean, there's 4.2 thousand people that watch this that believe Bob Lazar and think this guy's a shill for the government. It's really bad.
I think a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think a lot of these people are younger kids and shit that are sitting on their cell phones at school watching this stuff. I don't. A lot of older people don't believe the story anymore. Once they look into everything, Jeremy, it's like they change their mind, and because they actually start looking at the science of everything, and they realize it, and all the lies. You want to really see something incredible? I don't know if you've seen this or not. Give me a minute. I'm gonna pull something up that'll blow you away. I know you haven't seen this yet. Hang on.
Oh man, it's just so ridiculous, man, that these people, like, the control that they have over the information, guys.
Pull that private, look in the private chat. I sent you a Reddit link, and I don't know if you've seen this yet. We know who wrote this. I'm not going to say the person's name. And it's unbelievable. the way it's written. It's great. I mean, it's awesome. It is awesome. You go down through there and show people that he just absolutely nails it. He's got links to everything. It's to Joe Rogan about Bob Lazar, and it's incredible.
We ought to just turn this into a video and post that video, because I think that's the only thing that's going to convince people at this point, dude.
The person that wrote that has just blown my mind when it comes to this story. I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say who it is, but
I know who it is.
You know who it is, right? Yeah,
Yep.
He has done an incredible freaking job, man. And I'm just blown away at what he's been able to do, because I was tired of Bob Lazar, and he comes up with something like once every couple of days. It just really blows me away. He has just really leveled this freaking story. And just if people need to read that, and it'll set them straight when it comes to Bob. It's amazing. It really is.
It's UFO nonsense, bro. It is.
He brings up such good points, but like I said too, I don't even think about Bob anymore. I used to think about that story all the time. Enough people know.
16 years into this, dude, I'm like,
bullshit.
I'm just in. All I want to know is more physics, and I want to know more engineering programs and more science of like how this stuff works. The more I learn about these, space-time metamaterials and antimatter and polariton condensates and squeezed vacuum state, and
I wish you luck on all that science and stuff, but man, Jeremy, that stuff is so far out there. I see it taking a long time for that to become something mainstream will have down. It just seems alien to me, if you will. It just seems
there's a physics community out there that I mean even the physics community, they're so like not even on this level. If you watch that Fermilabs video, this guy's talking about he's nowhere even, he hasn't read any of the papers on anti-gravity. He's not read any of the literature. He thinks it's rotating superconductors. He won't even name Eugene Podkletnov or Richard Bandurek or any of the scientists that we've interviewed and have extended Q&A sessions with on my channel and on the APEC conferences. But he just displays a complete ignorance of the entire field, and yet struts all over it like a pigeon playing chess. I call it, the same way that Jeremy Corbell kind of struts all over the UFO field and the Bob Lazar stuff.
It's just all of it.
Get that clown on a debate with you, Dan. I would love to see Jeremy Corbell debate you on Bob Lazar or Mr.
He used to.
Cross
he still has not blocked me on Facebook, and I don't go on Corbell's Facebook anymore. But I thrashed him on his own Facebook page, and he had to leave this stuff up. And he knows it. He even said it, that I make him scratch his head at night. And I stopped doing it because one day he had a girl give me hell for showing the pictures of Papoose Lake, and at that point I just stopped. I'm like, you know what? I'm making an ass out of myself when it comes to Bob Lazar, because why bother? I mean, it doesn't matter what I say to him. He knows it's not true. He has to know the story's not true. It doesn't matter what I say to him. He's just going to keep telling the public, oh, it's a true story. So I just gave it all up, a while back. It's just not worth it anymore. It's not worth the aggravation. Enough people, when I look at that Reddit or whatever, enough people know out there the truth, and that's all that matters to me at this point. I've seen enough good people point out all the bullshit.
People watch this channel, dude. That's good, man. It makes me feel good about what we're doing. I'd rather be in the underground, and I almost feel like we're better off that way. I can't imagine what it would be like if I was had like crazy popularity or was on Joe Rogan and stuff. I almost like.
Well, I think Joe Rogan has made an idiot out of himself. Joe Rogan had that show called, Joe Rogan Questions Everything, or what was that called? Where he went around and said that Bigfoot and UFOs and all this stuff was all bull crap, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, and 9/11 and everything else.
Yeah, just everything else. And when the whole Bob Lazar thing, he just totally flips and says that it's a true story and doesn't even investigate it.
It was on Sci-Fi, right? Yeah.
time I hear Rogan talk about Bob, he doesn't even have the story anywhere close to being right, and I just laugh at it at this point. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just he doesn't even have the story close to being right. At least if someone believes the story, that's great as long as they got the facts right. But if you get the facts wrong and then say the story's true, it is a little aggravating. But that's what Joe Rogan is. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when it comes to that story.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, and he does not know anywhere near what I know about, a lot of subjects, man.
So, well, it makes me wonder what else he talks about, news and everything else that he talks about on his show.
He's just not informed. If I go on there and watch a topic, because I don't watch him all the time, and the only way I'll watch him is if he's talking about a topic that I'm informed on, and I want to see what he has to say about it. And when I watch those things, when I watch a topic that I'm informed on, and I'm like, this guy doesn't know shit, it really makes you wonder about like all the other stuff. So you watch him on all this other stuff, but that you don't know anything about, and you think that you're getting informed on it, but like, it just makes you wonder. But it's the same thing with the media. If you watch the media like cover anything that you're an expert on, right?
Yeah.
You immediately know like that they're full of shit. So it should make you question everything else. But I don't know why it doesn't for more people. Like why more people like take like, oh well, you can just believe what again, narrative control and perception management.
You're exactly right. And Joe Rogan's show since he switched to Spotify, I don't know anybody that watches him anymore. I used to know people that when they came home at night from work, all they wanted to do was sit down and watch Joe Rogan show on YouTube. Now I don't hear anything about it or anything. It's like it's gone. People don't watch it on Spotify. They just don't.
Yeah, I don't even think he's in charge of his guest list anymore on Spotify, bro. It's gotten really bad. It's gotten wicked bad.
He fucked up. You know what he should have did? He should have started his own server and gone that way. He would have had plenty of sponsors. I mean, he
got
probably
10
more
million.
money.
10 million, dude. You get 10% of that. You get 10% of that to give you $2 a month, and you're rolling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on. That's where I'm trying to get set up, and I'm hoping that I can turn this into a profitable business for me, and I don't have to do tile and construction anymore, because I'm gonna go bid 2 jobs tomorrow.
Take a little bit of time. I think it'll
take a little bit of time, but I'm working on it, man. I'm hoping by the end of this year, I can have things in order and get in a place where we can start doing this, because I don't want ads on my videos. I want to do this all independently. I hate all that.
The biggest problem that everybody's going to face is
I don't want to sell supplements.
Right. From what's being said, YouTube is not even going to allow people to talk about UFOs within a year. And they're deleting channels left and right. I mean, there are just channels that are gone.
I don't want a middleman. I'm not setting up Patreon. Fuck Patreon. Fuck PayPal. Fuck anyone that takes a cut of your money, dude. I'm setting it up so that people can donate directly, and I don't have to pay any middleman. I don't want any of that bullshit.
And you know what's happening, Jeremy? Once YouTube starts kicking everybody to the curb and starts tightening everything up, you know what's going to happen, right? Patreon and places like that, they're going to increase the percentages. They're going to go way up. They're going to go up to 50%. Aren't they at 30 right now? 30 or 40 right now.
It's going to be just like the adpocalypse. They were going to get everyone hooked on Patreon, and then they're going to cut out that's how they're going to deplatform people. It's honestly,
is that what you think? Yeah. It's crazy,
they don't want people talking about the truth, man. And if I could get half the people on to talk about things that I could, the amount of truth that we could drop, if I could get the people that I would like to have on, and there's some people that I talk to that have information, man, that's just, I really wish I had a platform that I could just let loose.
YouTube lost a ton of money last year, and it didn't even affect Google. How much money did they lose? It was like $700 million, and it didn't even affect Google at all, stock wise or anything.
This guy says Patreon kicking people off already. I wouldn't doubt it, man. None of that.
Oh, Patreon's kicking people off now. Wow, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, and then fake friends that like will add you and manipulate you, bro, and like, oh yeah, man, I don't like when you talk about this, and you know, little comments like that and stuff, dude. And no, like honestly, all my friends are cool, and we talk about whatever, dude. And you know, some people don't like certain topics, some people don't like whatever, but you know,
Yeah.
I try to talk to everyone and talk about anything. And again, for those of you who just joined, you want to join the conversation. You know, we're not like Jeremy Corbell. We don't block our, you know, our trolls and our enemies. You know, we welcome everyone as long as you don't come on here and just start blabbing about ridiculous nonsense. Because
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, they just announced an hour ago that Bigfoot's real. They just found one on a Navy ship with night vision. They found a herd of they found a herd of Bigfoot. They were walking around the ship deck, and it turns out they were out to sea. Yep, that's what's going on right now.
Confirmed. Jeremy Corbell has the Navy footage. This is real.
They're coming on the triangles, and they're landing on the deck of the USS whatever. And that's what's going on, man. It's been Bigfoot the whole time.
He's been flying. He's been flying a triangular aircraft in the same exact flight path as the one that goes into LAX, because he's just trying to disguise himself as a 147, you know, a 747.
Think of how ridiculous that sounds. That there's a Bigfoot in a flying spaceship, a UFO. Just think about that for a minute. And what if that's true?
There's been several of them spotted on the on the road to Beverly Hills leading to Jeremy Corbell's
Is that
mansion.
what that is right there? What's that say?
I don't know. I'm just making. We're making up fake news, right? This is.
Yeah.
This
We're
fun,
actually it's on the news. Wouldn't that be great though if next week, like Fox News and them came out, we're like, hey, there's Bigfoot on these bogies. That'd be great.
On these bokeh. Yep, it's big. We got a Bigfoot shaped aperture. We can make Bigfoot bokeh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. There's just everything's gotten completely ridiculous recently. So.
Okie. Oh, look, he did a heart shaped aperture, man. Look, that's
really
nice. For Valentine's
Day. Mick West. I was amazed that Mick West was able to go create bogey in his bedroom, dude. Within like an hour of the video being put on TV, he freaking made a bogey aperture. Remember that? It's like the night the video came out, he already had it figured out. Well, he already knew of that effect.
He knew because, like, you could see the planets that turned to that triangle too.
Yeah,
so it's like, come on,
Jupiter was one of them. Jupiter turned to that.
You can see that in the video, and oh my, people, these guys, they had 100 people on there yesterday. Just
they were all saying they didn't care.
It's bandwagon, dude. It's getting these people to jump on the bokeh wagon, dude, and so they can discredit them all. And I'm not falling for that game, bro.
Yeah, those guys.
I've been in this tour.
A couple of them said they didn't even care. They said they didn't care if it was bullshit or not.
Right.
They were just sticking with the story, and that's good luck when you head down that path, bro. We'll have a lot more Dan Burrish. We'll have a lot more Dan Burrishes come out.
More Dan Burrishes. Oh, Dan Burrish. Why don't we let's talk more about this flying triangle, though. I don't want to get too far off topic. What else?
I'm ready to go to bed, bro. Bring some other people in here. I'm ready to fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's like 4. It's 3 in the morning. Fred's asleep. Wake Fred up.
The effect. Let's. Is there any new videos from Mick West? Let's get Mick West on here.
Oh yeah, Mick West.
I was snoring so loud I muted myself.
I'm
Mick
sorry,
West
man.
has done a. I know. I feel bad, Fred. I'm sorry. Mick
I
West.
feel bad for the 228 people watching this, man.
Is
Sorry,
there that
guys.
many? I don't give a fuck.
How are we
I'm
this
sorry,
entertaining?
everybody. I'm half
At
asleep,
3 in the morning.
everybody. Yeah, bring the bong hit guy on, man. I seen him doing bong hits yesterday. That was hilarious. I look over there he is. There's the bong hit guy.
I'm gonna get more policy violations on my channel. I'll be like,
That's some good weed or what, man? Look at him. Fred, what do you think of that guy doing bong hits down there?
What do you think about this legalization business, man?
Well,
I think it's good.
I think that if we have people drunk and smoking pot on your show, that's going to degrade your show, because you are a scientist of a very high level, and we don't need to fucking degrade you in any way. We need to build you up. If I bring in certain people that might fund this freaking thing, then it's got to get cleaned up a bit.
Fred,
You know, when Elon Musk smoked pot.
Oh yeah, it did on Joe Rogan. They were pissed about that.
Well, put money in that shit, you know.
Yeah, there's money in that shit, and it's like, all
Not
right,
at all.
come on.
They look at it and they go, that ain't cool. They don't know what to do with money, and they walk away. You just got to be careful. Money's funny.
It made him more famous than anything.
Money is funny.
No, I agree with it. It did help his fame and in a lot of categories.
You know how many people have gotten rich off of weed here since they legalized it? And
No, I agree. But if you're looking for, if you sit at an executive table and you're looking for money and you walk in stone, you ain't going to get the money.
Yeah, they're pulling in 10 grand a day. Yeah, that's true.
Fred, do you know how many people smoke marijuana in this day and age? Things have changed, brother. Smoking weed is I'll tell you what. If you had someone pull up in a car, 2 people, and they were going to give you a ride home, and the one person was drunk and the other person smoked a joint, I'm getting in the car with the guy who just smoked a joint.
If I'm in an executive meeting and some people want money and you walk in high, you ain't getting it. Goodbye.
Well, I don't.
I represent film deals and business deals. I'm saying this represents, if you got people on this channel getting high and some investor just happens to be watching or looking at a recording and he sees that shit, he's going to think it's shit. They have to know what Jeremy stands for all the time, 24/7. And it can't be a bunch of drunken high people. It just can't. I know it's fun. Jeremy never acts. I never see Jeremy high. I don't know what he smokes, but he never acts high. He doesn't see. I never see it. But there's other people come on and get high, and it just degrades. You know, if I was CIA, I'd hire a bunch of stoneheads, go out and fuck up people by getting stoned and saying stupid shit.
Yeah, but hang on a minute here. Hang on a minute here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here's when people drink beer. Does anything? I don't understand it. What's the difference? Smoking marijuana to me is I don't smoke weed, but I don't think it's offensive at all. I
don't either. But when you're talking money, it doesn't sit in the same boat.
Okay, that's cool.
I'll smoke a joint the first time I jump out of an airplane with a parachute on. I might not do that twice, but that's got nothing to do with me trying to get money. You got to be really on your clean in order to get money.
Have you ever smoked marijuana when you were at Area 51 and watched the spaceships? That had to be great. When you saw the spaceships, were you stoned, Fred?
Come on, man. This is like ridiculous. All right, come on. Anyways, he does have a good point, man. Fred, you got a good point, man. I'm not gonna.
Wait a minute. Sorry, Jeremy, hold on a second. Hold on, I gotta go back to Dan.
I gotta go to bed, guys.
Dan, I never called them spaceships, not once. You put so many words in people's mouth, I could come over and bust your damn fingernail out and call it torture. I don't know why you want to do that, Dan, but don't put words in my mouth when I'm ever around you again, please.
You're the one that said they were plasma crafts or whatever. So what the fuck?
I never used the word plasma. You were talking to someone else.
Plasma fireballs, whatever
once. I've never been on live with anyone except for tonight.
Wow.
I'm dealing with other people that get so much
you say
money.
that you saw them turn sideways? Didn't you say that you saw them turn sideways?
I saw a craft turn picture at Area 51, and it was not the picture you showed. I
fell asleep early.
It was.
That is the Gary Schultz. That is the Gary Schultz picture. It's the only one you're going to find.
He's got another one because I was there with him.
Okay.
But I didn't call it a spacecraft. You said you're twisting stuff around, and I'm not appreciative.
No, hold on a minute here. You act like I'm twisting shit around on purpose. Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
I don't give a shit who you are. Okay.
Whoa.
You do it a lot with everybody. I've been listening to you, and it's not just me. So I will shut the fuck up.
Every time I fucking go to say something, you try and say I'm fucking twisting your words around. Guess what? I'm tired. Fuck you,
Every
Fred,
time,
you old
come on.
cocksucker. Go
Look
fuck
at him. He's gonna
yourself,
try to
bitch.
scare me off. Good luck.
Oh, Dan, man. Good night,
Sorry,
Dan. I'm
Jeremy.
sorry, man. Just get some rest, boy.
Sorry, Jeremy. He puts a lot of words in your mouth too. Ask your people. They're talking about it sometimes. Watch your people. They say it. He does this. Be careful. Don't let people put any words in your mouth, Jeremy.
Nah, Dan speaks for himself, man. He doesn't speak for me, and
You
none of
gotta
no one
listen
who comes
to
on my
it.
channel speaks for
Yeah,
me.
okay.
But I'm just gonna say, Dan's a good friend of mine. He is a good
I know.
researcher and
I
stuff,
know.
but he does get overly emotional about this sometimes. He's been doing it a long time, and it takes a toll on you. So, and
Been there, done that. But it's really important not to speak for other people when you talk. Hey, you just talked. You said you saw a spaceship.
oh no, that drives me nuts. No, that drives me nuts when other people speak for me and talk, put words in my mouth or speak on my behalf, and that's caused problems with other other people that have other friends of mine as well, because it's, I don't know. We're all trying to find the
You're
truth.
open. You're open, and you don't want to piss people off. But obviously, I don't mean to, but I can very easily. With the story.
No, you make a good point, man, about and you're right. If we want people to take us seriously. I want Fermi Labs to take me seriously. And if I'm sitting here, drinking a beer and smoking weed and talking about physics, then it's not, obviously it's going to be like, oh, all someone has to do to discredit me is go through some of these videos and and go and clip some pieces out like that, and they could make me look really bad, if they wanted to.
You know what I think is going to happen with you, Jeremy? I think when the public starts to get wind of what's going on as the disclosure crap comes about, they're going to get so confused and they're going to gravitate towards people like you, and there's not many. And I think you're going to take center stage because you try to find the facts, and that's so rare to find in this topic because nobody really knows unless you're on the super inside, and those people are being deceived from what I understand. But I think a lot of people are going to gravitate towards it because they're going to be so freaking confused and scared. That's my feelings. What's going to happen?
Yeah. I definitely I don't like the drama. That was a little bit I want to start getting more guests on that have more physics information, because that's really where my interest is. I feel like we're going to make the most progress is getting more scientists on here to argue with and open up conversations about advanced technology and stuff beyond just rockets. And yeah, Elon would be great. Or some of the people who are big fans of Elon to talk about hyper loop. And
he might do that, but he's hiding some stuff.
Yeah.
What about Corey Goody? I sent you a note. I can possibly get an interview with him if you haven't already done him.
Corey Goody?
I call it Goody. Good.
He's on the way out, man. Nobody.
I don't know. He's pitching. He came at me. We're connected on LinkedIn, and he won't tell me certain things, but he's pitching a TV show to the networks.
Jeez. Well, I don't. Again, the networks and stuff. I really feel like it's all controlled by these money powers, and they're covering up a lot of stuff because it's, again, if one thing comes out, it's gonna degrade the public's trust, and and more stuff's going to come out as far as the truth.
I would like to see you with Corey, because I can't believe a thing he says, but he says it so well. He's a nice guy, but others are doing the same thing. There's like a copycat going on, and he tells me the others like him are fake, that they're not real. When we talk, he seems real. He believes what he is, or he's just that good. I'm trying to figure out, because if he's not real and there's others that are duplicating him, then there must be an agency that one of them is going to have to give up that information. They're going to screw up, because who's putting these people up to that wild stuff they're talking about? I mean, Corey Goody's been out in space for 25 freaking years doing universal alien work that's beyond anyone's belief. And when he talks, he sounds, what he says, there's other people following behind him like, oh God, he's the man. And I listen to it and I go, what the frick is this?
Yes, I've been encouraging people like Bernard and people like, you should encourage these guys to put together a presentation and something that they can present in 1 hour and then do a Q&A on my channel. This is kind of what I want.
Nice.
And this is what I kind of did with my UAP task force debriefing, although I could shorten it up a little bit and I get a little smoother. So yeah, getting all your best work together and putting a presentation on where you can clearly convey it, and then practice it a couple times so you can practice your explanations and get good at it. It's definitely what's needed so that we can because this thing about Corey Good that he files lawsuits against everyone that gets involved with him. So I don't want to be involved with Corey Good because he's filed lawsuits against everyone who's gotten involved with him that's ever said he was a fraud or spoken out against him. So that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people in the chat don't like him. They're saying thumbs down on Corey Good, but this is the definite reason. This is the deal breaker for me.
Yeah,
it's like I don't get involved with people that file litigation and get lawyers involved. That's like pussy shit, man. Like, handle your business like a man. Like, it just I have no respect for someone that files lawsuits against people just for questioning them. You should be allowed to you should be allowed to criticize and question anyone, and anyone that hides behind a lawsuit and lawyers, they're just a pussy, in my opinion. And that's all. I have no respect for someone like that. I'm sorry.
Well, that doesn't make sense because where would he get the money for that? Because from what I understood,
because he's a fraud, bro. And I swear to God, he's done everything for money from the start. That guy, he's gotten all kinds of money from these cosmic disclosure and all the stories that he sold, and the guy's just sued everyone in his path, and there's got to be some big money behind it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's disinformation or something, because how's he got the money to sue everyone and have litigation like that? And where did he learn those tricks from? That's what the CIA does. That's what the CIA did for years, these companies, man.
Jedi, you see what Jedi just posted? That was cute. Corey's broke because he's been on Mars for so long.
20 years on Mars. Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like that lawsuit shit. That's just...
No, I didn't know any of that. I just know he's been talking with me. First day he wanted my help with some contacts with WB, but then I kept questioning him, and this stuff was, I can't figure it out. I don't want to blow anybody like that off if they just happen to be telling the truth. But his story goes so far beyond me knowing what to do with him. I thought someone like you, but I don't want him messing with you with some lawsuit. We don't need that shit. You don't need that shit.
No, I don't want none of that. I don't want to stay far away from that, man. I'm not going to get involved with anyone like that. That gives them.
Well, I got some other people that are more important for you to meet, so we'll talk about it in private.
I want more physicists and scientists, and I want, and less people. I got some people, man. I got a bunch of people that I want to get, and it's more the physics community, and I want to engage with the scientific community and physicists and scientists, and I want to get them talking about these things and not afraid about their reputations. And it's like, I'm not afraid of my reputation if I bring you on my show to talk about Corey Good, man. That's all you. That's on you. That's just on my guest. That's not. And we got another guy who just joined the StreamYard link there too. And Patrick, if you can get your mic hooked up, then you can jump on here and ask some questions and stuff, man. We'd love to get more people on here. And yeah, but there's more I got to get some of these guys who were just on APEC back. That's what I really need to do. I got to start inviting some of those guests, and I've got some guests coming up for this week. Hopefully we'll have some. I've been trying to get Brett Tingley on, and I got to set up a date with him. I'm gonna try and set that up for this week, but yeah, again, I'm getting ready to head off to bed here. It's 3 a.m. and I gotta.
You're kidding me.
And So I'm getting. I took a nap. Like I fell asleep at like 7 o'clock, and then I woke up at 11, and so like I'm already partly rested for the night. I'll be fine. But anyone else want to join and say anything before we take off and leave? No, it's probably too late to bring any new guests on. So I'm just going to leave it here for tonight, guys. Definitely get in touch with me by email. Oh, Patrick is on now. I'm going to add him. Definitely get in touch with me by email, thealienscientist@gmail.com. And
what was it?
The Alien Scientist.
Okay.
All one word, no spaces, thealienscientist@gmail.com. And email me. Let's get in touch. Let's get some contacts together. I'm going to meet some more people that have got in touch with me through the Timcast, and we're linking up with more people to try and get a just to try to get a better organization down. I mean, I'm one person trying to do this all by myself while juggling a whole bunch of other things. So it's difficult. So I need help, man, and anyone that can jump on board and help me with it and help me get connected with guests or more people in the community. I want to get more of the. I like what Lewis did on getting all these people together for these. I want to have more of that. I want to have more discussions and bring more people from the community on for these discussions, even if they're not friendly, nice discussions all the time. I'm sorry, but I want to stay away from the drama as much as possible because it's just there's no sense in fighting with each other.
I'm sorry about that. I was just telling the guy I don't like him putting words in my mouth, and he did it 4 or 5 times. And one time I called him on it, he didn't like it, and he called me fuck off. So I didn't mean to start that. I just preferred he didn't keep doing it. Every time I tried to talk, he kept trying to say something I didn't say, or maneuver me to go in another direction, or throw rocks at me to disturb my waters. And I tell you what, in my group of people, we know what that is. And Dan, if you're listening, if you're a good guy, no problems with me. If you're not, I expose. So whichever. If you don't like that, too bad. If you're a good guy, it doesn't matter to you.
I think I will agree with, one point I will make though, and other people have made it in the chat, is that, the stigma against cannabis dates back to propaganda that was, spread around, the early days of prohibition with that. And a lot of that is wearing off, and it's becoming a more accepted alternative. In fact, it's a lot safer than alcohol and a lot better. But it's a vice. So investors and older investors definitely have that, still have that stigma, and they don't view it all the same because But anyways, Patrick, did you want to say anything before we close off for the night? Yeah, he's not here. All right, thanks, guys, and
it was nice tuning in. There's more UFO stuff I could share with you, but we just didn't get there.
I went to go mute him to end the show, and then he started talking. Sorry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Is there anything you wanted to say or talk about before we sign off for the night? And
well, I found you guys on Timcast and thought it was really interesting. Been a fan since, and I'd love to contribute at another time. I was a jet engine mechanic in the Air Force, so I've had my hands on some pretty interesting hardware. So next time, I guess.
Well, before you go, there's some metals found at certain sites in Alaska, and I was trying to find out if that metal is common with jet engines. The tungsten apparently is being left behind UFO sites, or some sites. Don't know if they're UFO, but tungsten, is that something equated a lot with jet engines?
No, mostly titanium. I've done some fabricating, so our modern welders use tungsten in their electrodes, but other than that, not on, maybe in the igniter systems in the ignition system, but that's about it.
Was that tungsten or
tungsten?
titanium.
Yes. just in ignition systems, not in the engine itself.
Okay. I know it's a high heat element. All right. All right. So Jeremy wanted to call it because he's tired and it's late. So
yeah, hey, Patrick, yeah, thanks for getting in touch with me. And if you want to set up, if anyone that wants to set up a show or has like a show idea, or you get something together to present, I'm encouraging people, if they have information, put together a presentation, because a lot of people, if they have good information, they usually have a lot of it, and they don't want to, so if you want to put something together for me, and email me, and I'll make an arrangement. I can have you on the show, and one night this week we'll set it up, and I'd love to get you on to hear and talk some shop with you on Air Force tech stuff. So
okay,
that'll be cool, man. Thank you for reaching out. So definitely email me.
Real quick before you go,
where do you want me to email this to?
I'll post my email in the live chat right now. So the alien scientist.
Two things I need to ask about potential funding. Do you have a small or large, but executive summary and a small business plan of what you need money for, and how much do you need?
I have a couple different ideas for things, but yeah, I could talk to some people about that, because we gotta get decided on a single idea for what we want to do, and what we kind of really want is to find someone that has an existing facility. We want to get a facility together with for a stream house / experimental shop, but where I could get Jeremiah and a bunch of these other people will all move there, live there full time, and just build stuff and do experiments with it. And I want to get a high-speed camera too, so we can run take high-speed photography of the experiment.
Las Vegas? Are you okay with Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean Las Vegas possibly, but we were also looking at Texas and a couple. There seems to be a lot of stuff moving to Texas, so I don't know. We're looking at a couple different places. So I got to go meet with this guy, and I don't know. We got lots of things in the works. So if you got any ideas and stuff, but that's kind of what I'm aiming for. That's my dream. My dream would be if I could put a business plan together and write up a summary. It would be to get a warehouse somewhere with a machine shop, some machining equipment, some 3D printers, some cool stuff, and minimalist. I don't want just a pile of stuff that we don't use. It's just whatever we need and whatever we.
And then travel expenses and meeting expenses. I see you do a lot of traveling, and
it'd be great. The traveling expenses is one thing, because we would like to fly people into the lab to bring people in and do experiments with us, different scientists and different people. But so there would be some travel expenses involved, but we really want is Jeremiah and I have talked about this, and I'm not pinned to Rhode Island. I live in Rhode Island now. I've been here for 3 years, but I'm not like anchored here. I would be willing to move my family and everything to another state, to another location, if we could find the right spot with a bunch of, I'd like to get a facility with a bunch of rooms and a bathroom and some maybe individual kitchens for each of us, like almost like a little a couple hotel rooms for each of us to live in and stay. And we could, for when we get guests could come and stay right there, so they wouldn't have to rent out and get accommodations or anything. It could all be in this one spot. I don't know. That's kind of the idea I had for it. I've drawn up some plans for a building, or we could find an existing warehouse and adapt those plans for a remodel for a location and stuff.
That's what you'd want. You start from scratch. It'd be taking too long. So
we have this whole idea for the lab, the ranch colony, and this whole idea of a community of people to bring in people that just have this. It's like another idea was for almost like. MTV's Real House, where it's Survivor for anti-gravity researchers, and we vote people off the show and bring new people in constantly on as I don't know. We had all these ideas thrown around, but
so can I push you to kind of do a small, maybe 10 or 15 page business plan? A couple pictures can take up a little space, but you don't want to use it to take up space. But so
that wouldn't be a bad idea, especially before I go down and meet with these other guys who wanted to talk about this. I should put together a little business plan for this. But it's doable.
Can you put a capital S with that should? Because I heard a small s. Capital S. And get that business plan. Because I've got somebody to take it to that you already would like to talk to. But it's not Elon Musk. Because if I told you what I believe in Elon Musk, you wouldn't like what I'm saying. I was equated to my way of thinking as if I was Nikola Tesla, and I didn't know who the guy was. When I studied Nikola Tesla, I couldn't keep up with him, but I have a mind like that. But when I heard Elon Musk on video say he doesn't know who Nikola Tesla is, but he loves Edison, I go, oh, shit. So where underground boring company comes in and saying, hey guys, guess what? I know what you do down below. He's involved in something at another level that's not just the coolest guy in town. He's a part of showing off to the big boys of the planet, I can play this game too. And now watch me get better contracts than you with the bullshit we're going to show the world. We're going to fly in slow spacecraft to go to the moon. I've got footage of something that could go to the moon and back in probably 10 seconds.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I believe stuff like that exists, man. It's just kind of crazy what game is being played and who's playing what, but it's
like a weird matrix out there, and it's they call it the matrix, but it's actually not. It's the love of God, and it comes in this form that we can kind of touch on, and we can call it what we want, but it's okay, fine, call it the matrix. But they're playing a game, and they don't realize there's a lot more to it than they would ever imagine, and they're not playing from the right place in most cases. I love Elon, don't get me wrong. I'd love to play with him with some stuff, but I'm telling you, things aren't just what they seem. They never are.
No, that's why I think I really have this dream for this idea, and even if we don't create anti-gravity, we could still do a ton of really cool experiments and get real science going in like a lab style and the ranch colony is a good idea. Again, people mention like you don't want to be living together because there's too much drama and stuff. That's why I wanted like individual like hotel. I want you to have your own kitchen and a bathroom. I have the whole plans for the design of how I want it to go. But again, I'm going to write up a business plan and talk more about it with the team and think more about this because this would be really cool. Oh, and then another. Steinmetz, yes.
Yeah. Well, if I got that building, I showed
you for the
earlier.
Claymore for the $5 super chat, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, lots of cool stuff is coming. We got to do the John Hutchison experiment. We're going to build I want to build a Tesla death ray and really try it out and do, get into it and try all these experiments, man. Yes, totally. It would be awesome to have a real lab to do supercavitation. Imagine the supercavitation torpedo will get like a swimming pool and fire one of these things through it and film it and show people. That would be amazing. This would be amazing stuff that we could do. I just think of all like where all this tech show off can go if we really get the right people on board. You know what I mean?
I agree.
We get a facility together for this, and we start flying in people that worked on this crap and showing it off in a lab setting. Man, it would be huge. It could be huge. It could be as big as Mark Rober or Veritasium or any of these other channels doing. We could do videos on this stuff. I have a whole. I think about it all the time. I envision it. I envision this ranch. So I've heard a lot of people have dreams of a place like this where it will all come together and invite like the smartest people out there to come and tinker around and build stuff and show off stuff.
Well, a friend of mine recently bought a town, believe it or not, and it's about 60 miles down from Vegas. Go figure what he did. And I'm talking to him about what I'm seeing we could do. And I said, people like Musk will come once a year for what he doesn't know yet because across America down Route 66. It's a long story. But anyway, he bought this town. I don't know what he paid, $8 million for it. And I just found out, 500 acres. And I said, well, yeah, actually I do. It was an old Air Force base. I go, what do you mean? I said, is it still licensed? And he said, you mean FAA? And he said, yeah. He says, yeah. I said, so could you bring a jet in there? He says, as far as I know, I got a guy with 500 acres, doesn't know what to do with it, and a town and a village. It's, wow, all the stuff in the world. So we don't know where it's going to go next. But you've heard me talk about something, and that's that I respect what you do, and I want to help you get there with your dream.
Thank you, man. I need more people like you on my corner, and I'm definitely going to reach out to you. Hey guys, I'm gonna end it here. Like we should have ended 10 minutes. We were gonna end it like 10, 20 minutes ago. We keep ending it, but I'm definitely ending it here, man. Jump in the live chat for if you want to get off record and just jump in this. I'm gonna stay on here for about 10, 15 more minutes before I go to bed. So join in if you want to join the link right there. As always, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this on social media if you want. Thank you all for watching, and it's only going to get better, man. This channel is growing. We've really hit onto something huge, and this community is growing. There's more and more people getting involved with this, and it's only gonna get better. Thank you, guys.